What's going on, beautiful people in chat? Those of you watching on YouTube, I appreciate y'all for being here, baby. You tune into another episode of Talk About It with me, your host, T Easy. This is a space where real conversations happen, unfiltered, uplifting, and unapologetically focused on growth. Twice a week, we dive into thought-provoking topics, sit down with some interesting people, doing even more interesting things, all with one mission in mind: to be better than we were yesterday. So whether you're on the grind, you're in your zone, or you just need a little motivation to keep pushing forward, this podcast is for you. So hit the like button, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, tell your friends about it, drop a comment, tell me what you liked about the pod, tell me what you didn't like about the pod. I'm all ears. I appreciate y'all for being here. I love y'all so much. Let's get right into the episode. God bless y'all.
Oh, that's not capturing. There it is. Okay. So on chat, welcome back to another episode of the pod. Today's guest is someone I had the opportunity to mentor and be a boss of at the University of Pikeville. We've had multiple long, deep conversations, but I think being able to have them on a platform like this is not only beneficial to us, but to y'all as well. So Colby is a pre-med student at the University of Pikeville with severe interest in osteopathic. Yeah? Yeah? Is that right? Okay.
That's right,
Osteopathic
buddy. Yes,
surgery, amongst other things. He's a homecoming king winner, a student leader. There's a person, I'm a believer, whether it's, in medicine or something else, he's going to do great. With that being said, everybody welcome Colby. How you doing, brother?
Brother, I'm doing pretty good. Man, I'm tired. I worked 14 hours yesterday, but I'm trying to be chill,
Yeah, no, I've been there, especially trying to do all that while going through school route is difficult.
Yeah, and I could only imagine trying to have a kid too. That's just scary.
I was saying when I was in school, I couldn't imagine.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying too.
Matea asked these hypotheticals all the time, and she was like, "What do you think would have happened if I got pregnant when we were in school?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let's not think about it because we didn't."
Amen.
Yeah, because we weren't in that boat. But granted, it's good for you eventually. Especially, kind of going off of what we were talking about before the pod is a lot of younger kids don't know how to work these days.
Yeah. So, it just keeps getting worse and worse, I feel like. But that's just my opinion.
Eventually it's got to get better, right?
Buddy, I hope so.
Yeah, no, me too.
And it's either that or we have like a mass extinction or something.
Yeah.
We don't really have much of a choice.
I'm just hoping it gets better before Jesus comes back, man.
Yeah, I need to get better before Jesus comes back too. That's my number one concern right there.
What do they say? What's he saying? That's where you want to be when Jesus comes back, picking on a little Joe Dirt. You ever seen Joe Dirt?
I haven't. Isn't there a sequel too?
I forgot. I don't know if there's a second one. I forgot.
I swear to God, there's a second one. Could be. I'm a horror movie guy. That's what I like watching.
Like, what's your favorite horror movie? Is it like a franchise? Like you have a favorite franchise?
Yeah. The Saw movies, bro. I love those.
Oh, you're such a psychopath.
Bro, I don't care. I really don't. Like, they're just fascinating. Like, to psychoanalyze these people.
Yeah. No, I get that. I like watching the Saws too. I think if I had to pick a franchise, it'd probably be Scream.
I haven't watched the Scream franchise yet.
Really?
I need to. Yeah, I haven't watched the first movie.
It's just like, it's real people. It's not like Jason Voorhees or Mike Myers are like super strong. They're just like normal people dressed up. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. kind of steer clear of the supernatural beings because something about the Saw franchise is real. Like this could happen.
Yeah.
In fact, there was copycat killers for some of the kinds of things you see in them.
Yeah. Well, then even that same premise that's the kind of the plot of Scream. It's like copycat killers come out and try to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I
that's the plot of Saw too. In the last couple movies, that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, like the Saw franchise, I feel like would be better if it was better planned out.
That's fair because they keep jumping back and forth between timelines. And
Yeah.
And it makes it discontinuous. I agree with that.
Yeah, but I mean, I do enjoy them. They're good. But he's like, is he dead? Is he not dead? What's going on?
I mean, he's been dead since like the third movie, but then he's in the last one. I don't understand how that works. He's perfectly alive, but. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. But honestly, I don't really. I'm a big action movie guy.
Really?
Yeah. But Mateo doesn't like action movies.
I don't really like action movies. I gotta feel like a connection between the characters. Like I have to feel them get scared of things. That's why I like horror movies, but action movies is like, it is what it is. Whatever.
I should have gone on a podcast 2 episodes ago, so he didn't like watching it. Scary movies because he's like a empath, so like he gets too like anxious.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I thrive on though, is that anxiety of not knowing like what's gonna happen.
Do you get scared? Like, do you jump scare watching them, or is it just like?
Sometimes it depends what the movie is. Like Saw, no, not really. But like if I'm watching The Nun, yeah, that's cool. There's just something about that feeling of anxiety that I crave to go watch the horror movies. I don't get that with anything else. I used to like comedy movies a lot, but screw that.
It's not the same. I get that, but that's kind of how I am with action movies, or like a thriller movie. What's the one? You ever seen Shattered?
No.
So Shattered's a really good movie. It's got I can't remember dude's name. But he's like with his wife and daughter, and they're like going on this trip, and his daughter like falls, and he takes her to the hospital, and then he's like in the hospital wondering where his daughter is, and they're like, your daughter's not here, and he's like, no, I brought her here. So it's like a whole thriller movie where you're like, it's like a suspenseful, you don't know what's going on. Where's this guy's daughter at?
Mm-hmm.
And then like the plot flip, and you're like, oh, that's crazy.
I mean, the plot kind of sounds similar to a horror movie, like in a way. So that's fair.
But I mean, it's like directed really well. You watched Sinners yet?
Yeah, I watched Sinners.
Dude,
I thought it was really good.
Okay. What do you think?
There's a lot of stuff I don't understand though.
Some people say it's bad.
Who on earth says it's bad?
I can't remember who I heard. Who did I hear talking about it?
I mean, the only complaint I might have is the fact that they use vampires instead of like a more religious type villain, if that makes sense. But I understand it.
Oh, what's that one guy? He's like a Middle Eastern man. Like he does podcasts and stuff. Like he's a millionaire. He does some type of insurance for America. But he's like got a really big podcast.
Dude, I don't know.
It's gonna bother me. Nope. Switch account. It's the best way I know to find it. I have to go to my history. But we also use my YouTube account for all of our watching, so
yeah,
it's back there. Charlie Kirk. Then we listened to music on YouTube the other day, so that's all that is. A lot of cops. We watch a lot of cops in our household. Cops and puzzles, man. We've been burning them up here recently.
Puzzles?
Oh, yeah. You like puzzles?
Interesting.
I have OCD, so.
I mean, for a guy that said that he loves Jigsaw and like the movies. That's awesome.
Yeah, you think you like puzzles?
So, I mean, Yeah, you'd think that'd be obvious, but honestly, not really. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of connect with Jigsaw. Like, I understand his motives a little bit. Might be why I like those movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, parts of his philosophy I agree with. I just don't like that he just drags innocent people into it. I think that's kind of crazy.
Wait. And what, like the making people take responsibility for their actions?
Well, yeah, like at least, and another thing, whenever he does the scenarios, like he puts people in the traps or whatever, and then it gets publicity, it kind of prevents other people from doing the same sort of thing because they know that's the reason. But whenever I was saying the innocent stuff, he'll like in the movie he uses like people that haven't actually done anything just to prove a point to people that have. I don't agree with that, and it kind of ruins the plot sometimes for me.
No, for sure. I get that.
Yeah, I still think they're pretty good.
Okay. Hold on. I'm here. What's his name? Russell Brand. Charlie Kirk. No, it's on here, bro. Where is he at? That was like early. Just gonna burn me up. I'm about to just Google him.
That's what I'm trying to do. Just to get you unfixated.
I guess my description wasn't good enough. He does like a lot of self-help stuff. He's more like the pull yourself up by your bootstraps type. You know what I mean? I got OCD, bro. I can't help it.
I tried to look it up, and the only thing I see is your Muslim girl podcast. I don't think that's probably not
No,
it.
that's not it. Hold on. I might have found it. I think I was just too far down. Christian Stefano. Yeah. I was too far down. Patrick Bet David. You know who that is?
Never heard of him.
Okay. But he's like really smart. But I don't even remember what we were talking about and what made me think of him.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I really don't.
I just
I
was
don't know,
super
I just-
fixated on getting his name.
Dude, we were talking about horror movies.
Oh,
and then
he's the guy
this
that
guy
he
just
said
came up.
he said Sinners was bad. He said it was terrible.
I mean, he might be smart, but that's kind of a dumb opinion, I think. Crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it just goes to show it doesn't really matter how smart you are. It just is based off of preference. So what? I'm like really deep into cinematography. Like I have a lot of obsessions, and movies and cinematography is one. You said that you were confused about some parts. What parts?
I don't
Spoiler alert!
understand why
If you haven't seen Sinners, fast forward through the video. When you're watching on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, you just gotta suffer through it. But go ahead.
I'm gonna say if they're watching it live, they're just screwed. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
They gotta sit here and listen to it anyway. So I don't understand why they needed to use the vampire type creatures instead of literally anything else. I guess that's my only complaint is that I didn't really get the reasoning for that.
Well, I think it more ties into like I guess it's a concept that he ran with as a director. But if you look back at like that time frame in history, there were a lot of Irish people kind of immigrating to America. in Irish culture alone, there's a lot of like suffering and stuff that's going on, and it's real terrible. So like, it's kind of in the premise of like, you have somebody who comes from slave background, slave ancestry, and then you have somebody who kind of in a way can relate to their pain, and it's like the idea of giving them a way to like counteract all the bad that's been done to them, allegedly, like as the pitch.
That's fair.
But it's just like,
I don't know.
there's so many like small things that like go into that movie that makes it so good for me in the sense of like Christian values. And I'm not sure, like I haven't really done a lot of research on the director and like what his values are, but like the seven horsemen of the apocalypse are on there, like the greed and gluttony and lust.
Yeah.
So like that plays a lot into like the spiritual side of it, but also you have the title and the concept behind it all is like you have this brother who's hell bent on making money and being rich, and you have another brother who's more focused on the things that. Ooh, this is actually kind of. I just unlocked this. So you got you got Smoke, who's focused on like making money and being a millionaire, right? And you got Stack, who is focused on not disappointing his brother while also trying to pursue what he sees as wealth, and it's not money.
Maybe. I'm gonna be honest. I thought they both kind of had the same sort of goals. I feel like they were both family oriented, even though they were both after like money more so than anything.
Yeah.
You could tell the kid in the characters and the way that they talked to the women that they loved, and then obviously Smoke had that child that was that passed away.
Yeah.
You could tell that he still had some affection for that woman, and
No,
then
for
also
sure.
the first vampire woman that Stack had like an affair with. The white girl.
Well, see,
Haley
I
Steinfeld.
think it's deeper than that too. I think it's more Stack kind of
Yeah.
try to his perspective was kind of this perspective that's pushed a lot on social media. Like as a man to be successful and for people to respect you, you have to have a certain caliber and make a certain amount of money. And Stack, although he was trying to do right by his brother and like not disappoint him, he didn't think that having all this money, because it even showed when he was talking about accepting like slave coins. He was like, "We're not accepting those," and he was like, "Bro, what are you talking about? It's money."
Yeah, he said this is something they work for. Like, it should equal either way.
Now, granted, as a
Yeah,
business
I
owner,
remember that.
I
I
understood
remember what
it,
you
but
were
at the
talking
same
about.
time, it's like, yeah, you know. So that kind of just showed that Stack was kind of more driven by like like he wanted people to have a good time and he loved people, and Smoke was driven to money. But it's the persona of like I have to do this to be a good man, and that's not the case.
There's a lot of stuff that I thought was really good about that movie. You probably know some of like the foreshadowing that happened, if you know what I'm talking about. Like in the very beginning of the movie, whenever I forgot his name, but the one that played the instrument.
Yeah.
His dad said that if you keep going out there,
Yep.
one of these days you're gonna bring the devil back with you.
Yep.
And then also, like right after that, he was talking to Stack, driving the car to the little bar place, and Stack was like, "Yeah, on the way back, you'll be the one driving. Like, I'll let you drive." And then he literally drove all the way back because he was the only one alive.
Yeah.
Like little details like that you can catch, and it makes it 10 times better.
Well, also too, there's like I think it's interesting too how it's so deeply rooted in like accurate events, in the sense of like culturally it was pretty spot on, and then you have like the details of like history and how Irish immigrants came to America, and then like their deep connection and like not, I guess like they have an understanding of like slavery for Black Americans, but also you have the aspect of like their, I can't remember his name, but it was like a blues artist that was like supposed to be like the first recorded artist to sell his soul to the devil, and the ties to that character is very similar to his story. So it's like very interesting.
Yeah.
And
That
also,
is
I seen
interesting.
something. It was like, so when Stag comes back when he's old and has him play for him. So like it goes like another foreshadowing bit when he was talking about when he's playing the instrument in the bar and like it goes through all the different eras of music, like it breaks generations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that scene it like opens portals to the dead, right? So then you fast forward and Stack comes back to see him and asks him to play for him. And I saw something and it was like Stack went back to see him to have him play, not to kill him, but for him to play so he could see his brother again. And I was like, ooh, that's heavy.
I mean, I think what I admire about that movie and why I would consider it to be good, it has nothing to do with the religious context at all.
Yeah,
It just has to do with the human connection.
right.
And then hearing the dialogues that they had at that door is what made that movie so good. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever,
Yeah.
like, Stack would try to go in there and convince
Uh-huh.
Smoke that he wasn't one of the
Yeah,
vampires.
yeah.
And then he had to look at his brother, and then he had all of the memories
Yeah.
from like the real person, but he was now this like
Yeah.
vampire that was willing to kill him. And there's something else too. There's a phrase that's like, going into hell feels like heaven, and then the inverse is also true.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I think what made it so good is that you could take
yeah,
spiritual like faith-based connections from the movie, but it wasn't like their driving point. Like it wasn't like this is a movie for
hmm
people of faith. You know what I mean?
no, that makes sense. It's just like a little side note
No,
kind
for
of
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
It just makes it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely a great movie, and that director's good too. He directed. Ever seen Fruitvale Station?
No.
You should watch that. It's a good one too. It's got Michael B. Jordan in it.
Mm.
I want to say it's based off like a true story. I don't want to tell you
What'd you say it was called again? I mean, I might actually check it out. Is it like
uh
another horror
no,
type
it's
movie?
like a suspense movie. Fruitvale Station. VALE. But it's a young Michael B. Jordan, but it's really good. I didn't even know he directed it until my sister said that she was watching it and she had never seen it, and I was like, "You've never seen that movie? It's such a good movie." Super messed up, but
Well, I mean, I'd probably like it then.
yeah.
If it makes you think about something, I can appreciate a movie like that. Because I mean, it's kind of rare to see nowadays.
So
A lot
like,
of franchises is just milk for money, you know.
no, for sure. I mean, you can see that with just putting out the same movie over and over and over again.
The Jurassic World movie that I watched last week,
Wasn't that good?
terrible. I didn't think it was good at all. And I mean, somebody was talking about how like Scarlett Johansson forgot how to act in that movie. I swear to God, it's true.
She
Really
forgot how
is.
to act.
Her acting was not. Yeah, her acting was not good in that film.
Well, in all
She
fairness,
didn't sell
I
the
don't think
character to
people
me.
watch a Scarlett Johansson movie for her acting skills.
I mean, you might have a point there.
I'm not saying me, but I'm saying I'm sure
Probably.
that's the case for a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. You're saying for the male majority
Male
audience, right?
demographic, yeah. I mean, she's been
I mean,
in an Avengers movie
honestly,
for the past 12 years.
a lot of female audience members would like to watch that too.
Very true.
That's why they made Black Widow.
Yeah. Well, I
Guaranteed.
mean, I didn't think Black Widow was actually a pretty good movie.
I wouldn't know.
You didn't watch it? No, it's pretty decent. I mean, granted, it's still like pushing that narrative, but
It had to be so much better than this one. I swear. None of the decisions made by any characters made absolutely no
I'll
sense.
have to watch it and I'll text you.
It's crazy.
I'll text you and tell you what I think.
If you get a chance to, I think my biggest problem is like they had to go to the island and risk their lives for this stuff, and it's just it makes
Well,
little
see,
sense to me.
so in all honesty, bro, I watched Jurassic Park growing up. Like I had a buddy who was obsessed with dinosaurs, so when I went to his house, was what we watched. It was either that or Star Wars. Granted,
Yeah.
that was more interesting than Star Wars to me, but I only watched the first one.
I never
And
watched Star Wars either.
I don't think you really missed anything there. But we only
Tell me I
watched
might like it.
we only watched the first one.
Yeah.
You might. I don't know. It's not for me.
Yeah, there's a decent chance.
I'm not a Star Wars or Star Trek guy, but if I had to pick, I guess I'd pick Star Wars. But the Jurassic Park movie, I watched the first one, and that's like the one that I remember watching as a kid. I don't remember watching any other ones. Well, Matea got into them because they're on Peacock, and she was watching them. And then I was like, okay. But I think there's like one, bro, a T-Rex gets out into like a city, like California or something.
That's some of the newer ones, because I think what happens, and like this is in the last couple films, they end up trying to take the dinosaurs out from the island.
Well, no. So
captured.
that's the one with Chris Pratt, the one that was like trying to integrate dinosaurs into human.
Dude, he's been in like 3 of them.
Yeah.
He's been in 3 of them in a row.
But this is like
so they
this
took
is
him
like
outside
3.
And then,
I think this is Jurassic Park 3, and they like are trying to transport.
oh, you're talking about the old ones.
Yeah. And they're trying to transport this T-Rex, and then it like escapes, and then it's like
Dude,
roaming. But it's in a neighborhood, and it eats somebody's dog, bro. I'm like, what is this?
The only thing I thought of was like they tried to sell these things at a mansion, and then they got out and just broke out into every continent.
Yeah.
That happened like later. I didn't know that happened in the original trilogy.
Yeah. But also too, I will say, from what I can see, is they're pretty good at carrying the original trilogy over into the ones that they're making now. Like the small, so like one thing that stuck with me, like every time I see a can, that's what I'll think of. But in the first Jurassic Park, the guy has the barber saw can that he puts the DNA in. You know what I'm talking about? And they bring that back in one of the ones that Chris Pratt's in. So it's like cool to see that they're still doing that. And I think that the island that Scarlett Johansson goes to in this one is the one from like 3 or 4.
It's a brand new island. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
They haven't talked about it. Yeah, they've made like a flashback and said this happened like 15 years ago, and then everything escaped. Another thing that I don't really like about all these movies, the new ones, is that they keep relying on having like mutant dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So at first it was like crossbred, and then now it's like it's this mixed with this, but it's like modern day animals, fusing together to make some crazy T-Rex.
But at the same time,
and that's kind of what it relies on.
At the same time, though, when you're making movies like that, that has to be the end, like, because in a way it kind of applies to how we are, anyways. Like we always are trying to do too much in science, like when it comes to science stuff. Like we gotta figure out what happens when you do this and this.
Which I wouldn't have a problem with it if it wasn't the same thing they've used for the past 4 movies in a row.
That's fair.
Because even with the first Jurassic World, that's the same thing that happened.
What do you expect out of Jurassic Park movies now?
I expect perfection. If they're spending a $150 million budget, come up with a better script. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
I like the first one a lot. The original Jurassic World, the original Jurassic Park. I think those are solid films. But then everyone after, it just keeps getting like.
But that's what the movie quality is now. They're not worried about. People's not gonna make a new movie because they don't sell like a trilogy movie does.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm not arguing with that. You're spitting facts. I just don't think it's not cool.
No, I don't agree with it either. I want to see some new stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just.
I want to see something good.
I don't think any big like movie franchise wants to tie their name to a new movie that flops, bro. They just don't want that. They're just gonna be like, hey, let's go make a Jurassic Park movie. And because it's Jurassic Park and it's got Scarlett Johansson in it, it'll do millions in the box office.
I think the right formula is you just keep making more sequels until one becomes unprofitable, and then you quit milking it after that.
Yeah, no, literally. Well, I think too.
That's what I would do.
But also too, the concept is a little different in the sense of like the sense of history repeating itself. Eventually, those movies are going to be popular again. So it's just a matter of time, like, okay, it flopped now, but let's wait 10 years, and then we put out there's going to be somebody that's obsessed with these movies that will tell people about them, and then when it comes back out, they're going to be like, I'll give it a shot.
That's fair, but at that point, it's not really worth it. Because that company would have already progressed like 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
Then how much is it really going to help them? And then a lot of movies, it doesn't turn out that way. It's not guaranteed that it's going to become a cult classic. After,
but it's like a layup.
30 years.
Like if you, so I mean, I don't even know the context to put it into to like make it more digestible. But it's like the same concept of like, so Warner Brothers, for example, Warner Brothers has a franchise they put out, they make billions on it, and then they get into new movies and they're not doing great, but they're not doing terrible. And then they're like, hey, it's been 10 years. Let's put out this anniversary movie of this whatever franchise we own. And they do it and they get a big bust in income. But even the thing about the box office is, regardless of people like the movie or not, they still made their money. Like, you go buy a ticket to the movie, you paid them. So you could say, oh, no, XYZ, it sucks, but still
It was
made
successful.
$1.2 million. And yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what they're after. They're trying
Yeah.
to be a profitable business
No,
so
absolutely.
that all their employees can be happy. That's why they're making the movies in the first place.
What's the same concept
Yeah.
of you ever watched a trailer for a movie and then it's really good, and then you go watch the movie and all the good parts are in the trailer?
That's every movie.
That's
That's brilliant marketing. That's the whole
Yeah.
plan.
I mean, but they did their job. They got you to the theater. You paid for a ticket. You can't give the money. They're not giving the money back.
Which it works so long until you have somebody that's watched like the past 3 movies and it declines in quality. So then you're sitting here thinking, "Oh, I've watched these. I know what the 4th one's going to be like. I'm not going to watch it."
But
Which
also,
I mean, that only happens to people that watch every single one of those movies.
Yeah, that's
and care
fair.
enough to even think that.
But also too, I feel like it's a lot of the culture now of like, well, I know it's gonna suck, but I'm gonna go watch it anyways.
That way I can make fun of it later. You know what I mean?
Or more just like, well, what if it's good? Like it's like it's a FOMO thing. Like, what if this one's really, really good and I missed out on it? Also, I will say, in the sense of trilogies, I feel like like the Marvel franchise have gotten a bad name for it, but I don't think that's the case. Marvel's been planned out. Like we're talking about like millions of comic books that have been printed for this series. Like this plot line has been planned out for years. It's just a matter of making the movies. And people's like,
I mean,
it's the Avengers' fault, and I'm
that
like,
sounds fair.
let's chill out, okay? Stan Lee's been doing this for quite some time. Let's chill out and just ease up on the Marvel slander.
They have to have it planned out for them to pump out that many movies like
Yeah.
as quickly as they do.
But also, if
Like
it
it's
was
impossible not to.
if it was easy, then DC would make just as much money, and they don't.
Good thing is I'm not into any of those movies either. Like the superhero films. I think the last one I went and seen in theaters was Aquaman.
Well, that
That's a
was
DC film from like that was forever ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, granted I'm not a big fan of like the phase that they're in right now with Marvel. But I know what's on the horizon and I know that it'll be good. Like it'll be hard to mess up, especially if they go accurate to what the comic books are.
I know one thing. I ain't gonna have FOMO if I miss those movies. I could not.
But
get
so you
wrapped
never
up.
been like a Spider-Man? Like you're not a Spider-Man guy?
Absolutely not. No, I don't care about Spider-Man. Like I might watch a movie or something and then be like, oh, okay, that was kind of entertaining. But again, it doesn't have that realism that I really like out of some of these.
That's
films.
fair. You much
I
rather
know
watch
we're
like
talking about Sinners and how like it was good and it wasn't really realistic, but I could pull things out of it that
Yeah.
I can connect to in my personal
right.
life.
There's not like
Those
many
superhero
real
movies
world
is just
ties
like-
to a superhero movie. Yeah. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I can't connect to Spider-Man or Superman.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's not something that I care for because it's not relevant to me.
Yeah, no, I get that. I for sure get that. That makes a lot of sense.
Good.
But no, I think I mean, I get that. Do you watch a lot of documentaries?
I used to, especially I used to be a big like Shark Week kind of guy.
Bro,
So
is
I'd
it
watch,
Shark
like,
Week
all
now?
kinds of. I think it might
Chat?
be. If it's
Anybody
not
in
now,
chat? Is it
was
Shark
either
Week?
recently or it's coming up? One of the something because I see promotions for it.
Yeah, well, I just
But
seen
I
something for
haven't watched
Jaws
documentaries in
50th
years.
anniversary.
Since I've like basically been in school, I don't watch any of that stuff because I have to do that in class anyway.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. What like
I mean, I
like
ain't trying to study for that stuff.
absorb
Like, when I don't
knowledge?
absolutely have to.
you talking about sharks or are you talking about just documentaries?
And like the documentaries because they used to be like
Okay.
nature
Yeah.
to watch.
Right.
So now I've taken a break from that stuff
I got
the
you.
past couple of years.
Yeah, that makes sense. That checks. I just
And
had
then
a
the crime documentaries and stuff like that, you know.
yeah.
I like it.
Matea's into those. She watched that one from the guy in Idaho that just killed those 5 people.
Yeah.
We were watching it and then I fell asleep.
I mean, maybe I should give it a chance. Some of them are okay, but again, if I've seen the plot, something similar to it, I'm not going to be very interested.
Yeah, I like the 30 for 30s.
The what?
30 for 30s, like the ESPN documentaries.
I haven't seen one.
It's based off like sport events and stuff, but it's stuff that I know of. You know what I mean? Like Malice in the
That's why I haven't
Palace.
watched them.
Yeah, Malice in the Palace. Like the Bo Jackson documentary was really good. You got like the O.J. Simpson documentary, the Aaron Hernandez documentary. There's some good ones, but it's also sports things. Like I'm not going out of my way to watch a true crime about some random people in Wisconsin. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. That reminds me, one of these days I need to watch The Last Dance.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't seen that.
The Johnny Manziel documentary is actually really good too.
I mean, not that I'm ever going to have time for that, but
You said which
I mean, I
documentary
can dream.
you wanted to check out?
the Michael Jordan, The Last
Oh
Dance.
yeah,
right?
Last Dance.
What's
Yeah,
it called?
you haven't watched that?
I need to watch that. No, because I mean I know it's very like relevant to pop culture.
I will say, in my opinion, if you're gonna watch a documentary, I would suggest instead of watching Last Dance, watch the Redeem Team.
Okay.
It's about the first Olympic team after they like re-enlist like they. So there was a point in time after like the Dream Team with like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and all them. They made it to where professional athletes can play in the Olympics, like basketball players. So they were using like college players, and we were getting destroyed. So we're like, all right, we're not doing that anymore. And then they brought back the Redeem Team, and it's like LeBron, KD, Kobe, and that team is like brought gold medals back to America for basketball.
Okay. I mean,
I like that
I
one.
might give it a watch if I had the chance to.
So you're just
Aren't they doing something like that now in the NBA, where some of the coaches don't want the players to go into the Olympics? I heard something about that a couple of days
I'm gonna be
ago. I don't
honest
know
with
if
you,
there's any
brother.
truth to that.
I don't know if it's a dad thing or what, but I am religiously, not religiously, but like very deep into just college sports now.
Okay. I think it might be a dad
Yeah.
thing.
So like
I mean,
I watched
fair.
more downs of college football this year than I had any year, and this wasn't just like. Typically, it's exclusively Louisville, but it was. I'm not a basketball guy. I watch Louisville basketball, but I don't watch like other teams. I could care less. I might watch a game.
I haven't watched any games like that since I was probably in middle school, really.
Yeah, I might.
But
so,
I mean, if there was any sport that I could like actually kind of keep up with, it's basketball.
See, like I'll watch Louisville play, and if Kentucky's about to lose, I'll watch that game.
Right.
But that's about it, basketball wise.
Dang.
Like it was even hard. Like
Fair.
during March Madness, I'll put something on the screen and just like leave it up there. Like I'm not paying attention to it because I got a bracket, so like I want to see who wins, but I don't really care about the game.
Yeah, you just care about making money.
No, I don't put money on them. I don't do sports
Well,
betting.
how much does it pay you out if you had the perfect bracket? Which I mean, I know there's never ever going to be a perfect bracket, obviously.
I mean, it's got to be in the millions for sure.
If you've seen the statistics for it, it's never going to happen.
Is it like a trillion? Is it trillions?
I think it is in the trillions.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm pretty sure it's in the trillion. If not, even lower than that.
Yeah. Well, like I have a pretty, I'd say slightly above average, like knowledge of basketball this past season, and I had one region that was completely perfect until the Final Four. So like, you have to be like watching stats of every game and knowing like, and you still would probably get one wrong.
I mean, it's just luck.
Yeah.
Really.
No, for sure.
With how many matchups they have, and you go like, perfect, it's not gonna happen. No way.
No, absolutely. But yeah, no, we have season tickets for Louisville football this year, so that's exciting.
Maybe one of these days, if I get some money and get a job or whatever. Bro, getting a job, it's gotta suck.
I mean, yeah.
Couldn't imagine. I ain't never gonna do that. I was talking to Hannah the other day about like if I didn't make it into med school, because realistically that could happen if my MCAT score's chopped. So I came up with a plan, right, where we just save up income for 6 months and then just go down to Tennessee and just full time make YouTube videos and then do stuff on TikTok, every social media platform, and just absolutely spam for 6 months, and eventually it's got to take off. Because if not, I have no food. You know,
Yeah.
that's really my backup plan. Like I'm not even kidding. I'd probably do that.
I mean, to an extent, though. I mean, it depends on, I guess, what. If you're going to use like the guerrilla marketing approach, I guess that's one way to do it. But typically, it takes about 5 years, streaming wise. So like for this, it takes 5 years for you to have like sufficient enough following to do it full time.
Well, I mean, is that including if somebody were to do it like as a full-time job for 6 months straight and do nothing else but post,
No. I
keep
mean,
uploading?
you see, so like, there's always exemptions to the rule, but I mean, to like the circumstance, I wouldn't call it a rule because you never know. But like, there's just
Because I mean,
like people look at it from the outside looking in, like, oh, that's easy. You could just sit down and do it, but it's not as easy as you would think. In the concept of like creating content and being engaging and having like your stick, like every streamer has their thing that they do. Nobody's doing
yeah,
everything.
you got to have a niche. You have to find your place in that market. That makes
Right.
sense.
And even
But
like the big
sometimes,
streamers
like,
that you're like, he doesn't have one. I bet he does. Like look at like
yeah,
Kai. Kai has AMP.
he's known for something, you know.
Right.
Like Jinxie and all
Yeah.
them, they're all famous for something or
Right.
playing something,
Right.
having some type of
Well, I was
personality
saying like
trait.
bigger than that. Like I'm talking like Kai, like streamer of the year. He doesn't seem like he just does random stuff on stream. It looks like he doesn't have like his niche, but he does. Like he started AMP. He's got a group of guys around him that are fully set on making content whenever they're together. That's his niche.
I mean, like, I get it. I feel like it's not a terrible strat though to just try it as hard as you can for a couple months and see where it goes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, what do you have to lose at that point?
I mean, I guess if that's the way you're looking at it, then yeah, you got a point.
I mean, if you're gonna go broke if you don't do it, then you're probably
Right.
gonna do it.
Right.
It's like the man that's hungry is always gonna beat the one that's not, you know.
Very true. And also the same concept of you could be the guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna get into this, and then pick up a job, and then slowly weed yourself off of doing what you wanted to do in the first place. There's always two far opposites. You know what I mean? But
I
also,
have the
my
the
takeaway.
personality trait that I'm gonna try everything. It doesn't matter how bad it turns out. I'm just gonna keep trying.
Hey, it'll eventually pay off in some.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're gonna do something and it's gonna stick. Like you're gonna be like, okay, this is my thing. But you're still at the age where you're like, you don't know. And that's one thing that I really admire about you, because it's like, you're surrounded by people who are in the position of like, okay, I'm making a plan for what my rest of my life is gonna look like. And it's, in a way, yours is kind of similar to mine. It's like, look, I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm gonna be successful. Like I'm gonna do whatever I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my abilities.
That's what my problem is, though. Is like I have a lot of different sorts of ambitions to do literally anything on God's
I did
green.
too.
I went to a church service like 2 weeks ago, and I said, "Man, I'm going to be a full-time preacher when I'm 65 years old. I'm going to preacher college, and I'm going to be the best one ever." That's because like I want to have that background knowledge to have conversations with people and point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
But then I've also had that conversation with myself. It's like, where do my priorities lie? And for me personally, I need to have a good source of income. So that's why I want to go to med school, right?
Right.
And then if I go to med school, I kind of want to have like a more, like a good social standing in terms of like a media presence. That way I can like actually get out there and spread myself.
You're gonna be doing like the cat
That's
daddy
weird
on
out of context.
TikTok,
Yeah.
like
just
the
that, brother.
weatherman that does the dances, that guy.
Yes, sir. But if I could build that up enough, then I could actually do good for the world too. But you have to have a platform big enough to spread that kind of message.
I don't think so.
It helps. I'll put it that way.
I think it depends on what your goal is. Oh, this okay. So I say this because I wish somebody had said it to me. Because like I said, I see a lot of me in you, in the sense of like, I want to do this, and it's all over the place, and none of them really work together. Like I want to be.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
you have to have an ordered list of what you want.
Right.
I want to go Med school, that's number one priority.
So nobody
If
told
that
me
happens,
this.
when I get bored,
Yeah.
figure it out.
So nobody told me this when I was in that point of like, I'm going to do this, this, and this.
Mhm.
Because at that time, I didn't have a set, I'm going to do this. It was, I'm going to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Now, granted, one thing, it doesn't matter, like, it could be anything, but one thing is going to change the entire trajectory of what your life is. And people see that different ways. I see that as God, right? So for me, I'm going to be a billionaire. I have Evie. I don't need $1 billion. I want to, in the same concept, I want to be able to give people advice and help them out, whether it be one or whether it be $1 million.
Yeah.
So, granted, since that point of like, okay, I don't need that much, there was just like me basically like trying to cover up my traumas of being poor in the sense of like, I'll never be poor again, trying to overdo that. So now it's just I'm fine tuning what I set out to do and a more. The best way I can describe it is right now you're basically shooting from the hip with bird shot. You're like you know you want to go out there and be active and you want to do this and this, but you don't know exactly what it is. Like you don't know what your path is. You have an idea of what you want to do. But once you have that moment, whether it be a kid or whatever it may be, then you're gonna be like, okay, now I'm shooting a Browning, prone.
At
like
that point,
I know what I'm doing.
Life would make that decision for you.
Yeah.
In a sense, I mean, that's literally how it works. But it's good to have not necessarily a really organized list, but just like I said, some kind of priority sheet that you have.
Yeah,
like
sure.
The number one thing I want is stability, and I know like you have to look at your abilities too, like what you are confident in yourself to be able to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think I can go through med school and do that just fine, and then get into a residency program, make over $100,000 a year somewhere. I don't even care where it's at. But I mean, that's obviously my number one priority. Like I basically it has to be.
Right.
In my mind, I've forced it there.
Yeah, but do you think that at some point you'll be like, okay, I'm tired of this. What am I gonna do now?
That's why I've already been thinking of these other things. Because then I work like 3 days a week, operating on people, and then what do I do for the rest of the time? What do I do for the other 4 days that I'm not? If I can ever get in that situation. That's kind of where those backup plans kind of came into, those other ambitions I was talking about.
Yeah, I used to be a firm believer in a backup plan. I'm not so much anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I think 2 reasons. One, like I have a lot of my perspectives now are two-sided. Like that you have your humanistic side and you have your spiritual side. So my humanistic side of that is if you create a backup plan, then whatever your true goal is, you're always going to like you're not going to go full throttle because you know that you have a plan if it doesn't work out. Like you leave room for you to slack off.
I mean, that's the same way, like, if you get everything given to you from your parents and you don't have, like, you have something to fall back on, then you know that it's going to be there. Like, you have your safety line.
Yeah.
You have your
You're saying, like, when
there.
it comes to, like, venturing out.
Yeah, it won't mean as much to you at that point.
Right.
I mean, you're spitting facts right now.
Yeah.
I can't lie. I understand exactly what you're talking about.
And then the spiritual side of that is God has a plan for you. So for you to say, okay, this is what I feel like my calling is. Like, this is what I was made to do. But my backup plan is going to be this. To that extent, personally, like, if I was doing that, then that's me telling myself, like, you don't really have as much faith in God as you wish you did. Like, you're leading it on like you do, but you don't really because you have a backup plan for what He has planned for you.
I mean, the way I look at it is like, if, God created me and then I have certain abilities or characteristics, right?
Yeah.
And then I see myself continuing forth on this path using the abilities that He gave me. Why would I not? If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I feel like I can competently perform this job and then do it with, somewhat of a degree of happiness, right? And then stability, why not? And then if life, for whatever reason, takes a turn, it is what it is. I'm not going to I won't defy God if that's His plan to do something different.
Right. And I mean, in that sense too, like, you'll hear plenty of stories of people who are like way off the beaten path of what like they were like not religious and they were doing something and then something happened and then they came to God and they totally changed their career path around because it's like that's what God had planned for them. They just didn't know. They had to get to where they were at to notice that that was what God had
Exactly.
planned for
I
them.
mean, life's full of surprises. So I mean, I'm never going to sit here and say that I know exactly what I want to do because that could literally change tomorrow. I could run into somebody that could change my life permanently, and it only takes like 10 seconds. Man. You never know, really.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, it's like if you know you want something, like if you want it real bad, there's only like two ways that you don't get it. It's like you either stop trying or you die. Like that's really why you don't get what you want in life. I also believe in that just as much as the same thought of like, God is in control of life. So if something were to happen to me and I have to change my plan, I just got to accept it, right? It is what it is. I think both of those things can be true at the same time.
I feel like there's a I think there could be a third section of that. Like you either die or you stop trying or something else. Like you uncover like I said that life-changing event like the
Well, I see where you're coming from, but like in that saying, it's like everything is covered by that you stop trying. Because if a life changing event happens, that's whenever you stop trying doing that one thing, and then you convert that energy
yeah,
into
okay.
trying to do
I see
something
what you're
else.
saying. Okay.
So I mean, it literally is the truth. I don't know any other way around it. It's like
Yeah.
you either divert that energy, you stop doing it for some reason, or you're laying 6 feet in the ground.
Right. No, that
That's how
okay.
you don't get what you want.
Okay. I didn't really think of it that way, but that makes sense. I get what you're saying.
Well, you know, that's just the way I think of it. And opinions are like buttholes, right?
No, I mean, that's good though. I definitely like that. I think that I talked about it a little bit in the sense of on the pod, but um, talking about like social media and I hate it to an extent, but at the same time, it's hard for me not to be tied into it and do what I do. Like I have to be somewhat socially knowledgeable to have conversations with people, because if not, it'd be a really dry podcast when somebody brings up something and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I have no clue what
And
you're
you're
talking
like, I
about."
don't know. I mean, that's how I feel on this podcast sometimes. We're just
Yeah.
talking to random people. It's like you get so focused on trying to do one thing and nobody understands what your goal is focused on. That's
But
why you miss out on a lot of these experiences because you got different things in your head.
yeah, and I think I've been kind of not just on pod, but just in general, I've been talking to people about the the I don't even know what the top like category would be called, like the alpha male type of content. Okay, all right, chill out. But like the guys who push the you have to
Red pill
be
guys.
you have to have X amount of money to be successful, and if you're not, then you're lazy and you're nothing. Like that push, I feel like is harming younger men more than it's helping younger men, and it's
Because
creating
it's misaligning their priorities.
right, and it's
And
creating
I agree with that.
it's creating
Crazy.
narcissists, yeah. Because like if okay, the way I see it is, you're saying you have to have X amount of money to have some type of standing to get a woman, et cetera, get multiple women if that's what you want to do. Okay. But at that point, it's like, are these women attracted to you or attracted to your money?
Yeah, that's 100% what they'd be attracted to.
And
But in
then
that same sense, those people, they're attracted to the women just because they're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could be the worst people on earth. It's both ways.
right. No, absolutely.
Unfortunately.
But that's why, and then like, so one of the things that I think is a negative, not negative, but like it could hurt more than it could help is the concept of like surround yourself by all these men with like similar values. I don't think you need that, especially not in this context. I don't think you need to talk to men that are trying to figure out their life every day. And here's why. Here's why I say that. I think to an extent, when you get especially, I mean, it's the same concept of like a woman who's married going out with her friends that are single to bars. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, they're married. Regardless, however much they love their husband, if they're around females that are single and they're in her ear saying, yada yada, like, oh, you shouldn't be treated like this, she's more likely to cheat than if she was at home with her husband.
Yeah.
Same concept.
Just because of the exposure effect there.
Right. But the same concept applies for if you surround yourself by men who are trying to navigate what their purpose is, eventually somebody else's views in that group is going to rub off on you, and you're not going to be pursuing what you want to be pursuing because you see, oh, this guy's making, $100,000 a day in the stock market, and I'm making $80,000 doing
I think the
blue collar work.
The way I see, those kinds of influencers is like, you have to be careful what life lessons you pull from them. Like having determination and then hard work, like a good work ethic. Obviously, you want to do that and try to keep yourself healthy, right? Like going to the gym as much as you can. You want to pull those things.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the toxic energy that you're kind of describing there, and the alpha male mentality, yeah, you want to leave that far away. But at the same time, everybody brings something to the table, right?
Yeah.
So those people, I can't just write them off. I can't just write off Andrew Tate.
Right.
Sometimes
Okay.
like,
very good. This is what I say to that. I think
okay.
as
I'll hear it.
a grown man. Okay, well let me backtrack and ask a question to lead to my point. Mentally, as a man right now, are you the same person mentally that you were when you were 12 years old? And I don't mean like your jokes and your humor. That's not what I mean. I mean like, were you able to digest information as a 12-year-old the way you are now?
I mean, absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't think anybody is.
And that's the point that I make a lot of the times. If you have a platform where you push these narratives on social media, not everybody, it's not a fine-tuned, like, you have to be this age to see this. So that means 12-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 6-year-olds, they're getting this information, and most of those brains aren't capable of breaking down what you're saying and taking out the good and the bad from that. And you said Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is notorious for making very good points, but he'll cater to the male audience by making a backsided joke about a woman. As an adult,
he'll say something that's very extreme to gain more attention.
Right.
To get more of a follower. That's what he's known for.
That's what social media is.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the unfortunate
It doesn't matter
thing
the
about
like
it.
or
What
the
are you gonna do
dislike.
about it?
Right. It doesn't matter if
You're
you get
just
liked
screwed.
or disliked. You get money regardless. So like, yeah.
There's no such thing as bad attention, brother.
Right. So you have
100%.
to do something to get that, and that's what the backsided like disregard to women is. It's like, okay, like that you're, I see what you're doing, but at the same time, it's like that's not going to be taken the way it should be by a younger guy, opposed to somebody who's more capable of digesting information and taking out the goods and the bads of something.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a risk.
Yeah.
But I also think of it the same way that people make horror movies. Like, okay, you release this rated R stall that we were talking about, right? And you take a kid in there, that's not going to be the best influence for them at that age. It's not catered for them. But, I mean, how are you going to have media and then not control the media, but then also want it to be limited at the same time? That's just kind of how it is. I see it as somewhat of a problem,
you mean like
but it's
movies compared to like social media?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if it's thrown out there, if it's produced and released for, like, mass audiences to view the content, how are you going to control that? How are you going to control, like, exactly who sees it? I feel like that kind of falls into the parents, honestly, because who else is supposed to control that?
You're spot on. That's 100% who's supposed to. Because, I mean, the same concept, you're talking about a movie,
Exactly.
right? You're talking about taking a kid into a Saw movie. I wasn't going into Saw movies when I was younger.
I was.
Also, I wasn't going to the movies by myself at a young age. I don't think I went to the movies by myself until like 8th grade.
I'd say it was probably like 6th for me, if I'm honest. Like, I don't know. I was doing a lot of stuff like earlier just because, like, I guess I had a early kind of sense of responsibility in terms of, like, I was more accountable than I guess like most people would be.
That's fair.
Even like in elementary school, but I mean, it depends on the parents, and then it depends on your child if they can handle it or not. If they can pull, positive messages from these influences or whatever. Yeah, I mean, have at it. But if you start noticing that they're walking around, calling women certain words that, oh boy, Andrew Tate likes to say,
Yeah.
then you might be like, hey, buddy, something ain't right here. We
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
get you
yeah.
off the TikTok
Right.
real quick.
No, for sure.
But I mean, that's
I mean,
all on the
granted,
parents.
if you're 10-year-olds on TikTok, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're chopped anyway. Your parenting style is absolutely cooked.
Let me ask you this: growing up, were your parents the type to be like, "Don't do this," like, "Don't go drink with your friends"?
No, I mean, dude, my parents they would tell me what could happen if I, were to do or make a bad decision.
Yeah.
But they would always let me do it because it's like they knew I would learn more from making the mistake than them just telling me not to do it and just hoping that I would listen. Because that's what creates a good liars. Is like whenever you tell your kid exactly what to do or what not to do, and they better listen to this. Because then they're either going to just have to follow every rule that daddy tells them, or they're going to have to be a really good liar to get out of it. Which one do you think is more common?
Yeah.
That's why there's so many people that I know.
Well, also too, I think there's a resentment thing.
liars.
Like if you're telling your kids don't do this, don't do that,
they're going to do the exact opposite.
more they're more intrigued on doing, opposed to having a conversation of, okay, there's going to be opportunities for you to do X, Y, Z, but if you do X, Y, Z, here is the outcome that could be, or this is how if you do this, this is how I feel, right? Now, granted, if you have the relationship that you should want to have with your child, in the sense of like, they respect you, they want to honor you, like there's a mutual respect, then your kid's not going to do those things because it's like, I know how my parents are going to feel if I do this.
Yeah.
And the same.
The only thing is, with you saying that, I never cared about really what my parents thought. It's just whenever they told me not to do something, it's because I always knew they were looking out for me. But they were trying to, have things work out for the best of my favor, right? Maybe not so much that I was honoring my parents, but because they were trying to protect me, and they were my parents, right? So I don't know. For me, especially like as a kid, it wasn't really as much of a respect thing. It was more of like, they're more experienced than I am. They're trying to look out for me, so I understand where they're coming from. Even though I might not have this experience, they have more experience than me. But I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying it's a little bit different.
No, I get that, but also, I mean, to an extent, that is a little bit of like, it's a respect honor thing.
Yeah, you have to respect their authority and also their wisdom.
But just I mean, more as your parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same.
Like,
that's the same issue that you run into like with faith, right? Mm-hmm. When, like, so as a God-fearing man, I know what God says I should and shouldn't do. I have a book that tells me everything I should and shouldn't do. And then ultimately, like, it's different in the circumstance of when you're a kid, you don't understand how much your parents sacrifice for you or like go through to make sure you're taken care of.
You would never understand that.
Right. But like as an adult, you have the capable ability to break down things and digest them, in the sense of, now I know that Jesus Christ was real and it was God's son that he brought to earth to die for my sins. I know that. And I have a kid, and I'm like, I couldn't imagine. Like, if God came to me and was like, I need you to sacrifice your child for the well-being of the earth, I'd be like, okay, like I have faith in you, but at the same time, like reading about Abraham, and he was like full set about to sacrifice his son for God, and I was like, dude, I want to have that much faith.
I mean, that's what a good Christian would aspire to be.
Right. Yeah. And also, too, one thing that I heard recently that really stuck with me is, like, reading a book, we get so caught up in these people as characters, and they were real people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oof. Like, you're
that
talking about...
reminds me of what I was talking about with the movies and stuff, like, and connect to them, because they're like real kind of people that could happen, not fictitious.
Right.
That makes sense. Like
the same concept of like David and Moses. All these people weren't like characters that were created by Stan Lee. Like, they're real people.
But I kind of wanted to go back to, we were talking about the respect, right? like you're respecting your parents, and that's kind of why that you follow their lead. As you get older, though, you have to balance that out between like becoming your own person. Because if you wanted to become exactly what your parents were like, then you would listen to everything they said.
Yeah.
But if you have different life goals, eventually you're going to have to go against the grain of what they're trying to tell you to do. And I feel like that's another interesting concept too.
I think it's more on the concept though of like who are your parents? Show me who your parents are, and I'll show you. Like in a sense, I can kind of better gauge who you are, because like you have two.
Fair.
You have. I feel like it's a dynamic of if you have great parents. Granted, nobody does everything right, but you have great parents who have great core values, and they stand on that, and they they put their marriage first. All the things that you want a parent to have, right? You are more likely to have lives more similar to them. I wouldn't say more likely because that's not the case, but like that is something more like going off of the like that's honorable, right? Like I had parents that did in my vision everything right, like everything they should have done, right? Opposed to I grew up in a broken home and my parents cussed at me, etc., etc. Because even me, like I had very loving parents, they didn't do everything right. So there's things that I know I have trauma from that me and Mateo are preventing through raising our kid. But ultimately, kind of making a point off of what you said, as a parent, your number one goal is to make your kids better than you.
Yeah. So eventually, you can't really lead them anymore, and they have to lead themselves.
Right.
And I mean that happens pretty early in life. If you want somebody to be successful, you kind of have to wean them off the kid.
Right, and I think too it depends.
That's kind of how it is.
Depends the gender of the kid. One thing that I've kind of realized, especially through doing this, is talking to my sisters about my dad. Their takeaways from what he did was very different than mine. Like my sister's like, oh, Dad could have worked less, and I was like, I don't think so. That's not what I learned from my dad.
Let's say you talk to your brother too, like somebody of the same gender. They're gonna have a different perspective too.
Yeah.
Which that's something else I was going to talk about.
But also age plays a role. So like one thing that's interesting, if I was to go back to school, it'd be for psychology. Very interesting to me.
Okay.
But 3 different kids raised in the same environment could grow up and have completely different traumas, even though they're raised in the same environment.
Yeah, they have completely different traumas and they respond to things differently. They become completely different individuals, even though they have the same exact background.
Right.
That's what I was going to say. Even like it doesn't really matter. Well, it does, but not for what I was going to say. If they had like a good, home life or a bad home life, because each person responds to those things differently. In other words, somebody could have great parents versus somebody who had terrible parents that cussed them out and beat them every day.
Right.
They could end up being the same kind of person as a result of that.
Yes.
Like the one with bad parents has, the person with bad parents, it scared them from becoming, their parents at one point.
Yeah.
So then they end up being like, God-fearing good people.
Yes.
And treating their kids with respect, but then the person out of the good, household wants to replicate that.
Absolutely.
So they want to be like their mother, or they want to be like their father, respectively.
Yeah, I agree.
But I mean, then again,
and it's a concept of wanting to be better than your parents. Like your parents want you to be better, want you to be better than them, but do you want to be better than your parents? Do you want your kids to have a better situation than what you had? Because you do see those people that are like, well, this is how I was raised and I grew up fine. But did you? But did you though? Or are you actually a POS and people do not like being around you?
I think it's interesting if you look at people that were raised like by really good parents too, because some of those people turn out to be terrible because they had like everything handed to them. They never had challenge, right? So it's like they don't know how to handle themselves whenever the pressure falls on them. Again, I don't really think it's as much fault of the parents as to how the child responds.
Yeah.
I really think like I'm a big believer in like individual, responsibility for things. I took that test whenever I was on that retreat with Stephanie, and that was like my highest score was like individualization.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it until then, but I mean, I really do believe in that. Every person's responsible for like everything that happens in life. Yeah. After the point of being raised by their parents, because they even interpret how their parents raised them.
Well,
they choose how to be.
I would even venture to say, in general, not even after they leave their parents' house.
Oh yeah. That's what I was like. Even as their parents are like raising them, they choose how to respond to these things differently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and two I'm sure there is parents that are like teaching their kids to lie and steal and do this and that, but I would say more than not, that's not the case. So it's traits that they decide to pick up on that then correlate to how they live the rest of their life. Yeah. But granted,
So
also
that's very interesting.
and what that's scary too in the concept of like being a parent is you know how much weight you hold on how successful your child turns out. So it's like you want to hold on tight, but you don't want to strangle them, in the sense of like I don't want them to get to high school and have no social abilities because I didn't let them do anything.
I was going to say like the exact
or let them
opposite
too
of that,
loose
really.
and then they go on to like kill people
Yeah.
for some reason. Like
You're talking about the influence that the parent has on the kids, right?
yeah,
But like from the perspective I'm talking about, it almost seems like it doesn't matter as much. So like that gives you more flexibility as a parent because you're like, yeah, I made this mistake, right? But in the long scheme of things, my child can either benefit from this or they can be harmed from it, and that's kind of up to them.
yeah,
Especially if they're past a certain age, then it's really on them.
yeah. No, I get that. Again, I think it's
Yeah.
too kind of like in a sense I think it comes down to circumstance, bro. Because like you hear stories about people who like went on killing sprees and they were raised. Granted, I'm sure there was something, you know, even if they were raised in like a great household, something happened to mess them up mentally. But was that?
Yeah, 100%.
But you also hear the stories of a kid who's neglected his whole life and then he goes out and kills people. So it's like, I don't think it's directly derived from his parents, but I think like there's a lot of like small things that I've learned to like do to instill good values in Evie just off my response of things. So like instead of saying like you're so smart when she solves a problem, like you're so hardworking. That way she doesn't get discouraged when she can't figure something out. So like taking off like her mom's a real big overthinker, so I don't necessarily want her to have that weight, I guess. And then another one is when she shows me something, like if she like drew something and she showed it to me, instead of being like, "Oh, that's so pretty," etc., it's what do you think about it? And then I just reiterate whatever she says. So then she's not expecting. She doesn't rely on other people's feedback on what she's doing to like see if it's if it's good or not.
Yeah. But I mean, like everything else we're talking about, you can take all those things overboard too. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like everything
absolutely.
in life. You have too much of this, too little, the same thing. It has a bad consequence
Absolutely.
either way.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree.
it's really just it's up to the child how they interpret it. And I mean, I'm not a father, but like just from what I've seen of all my friends growing up and stuff, like everybody in my entire friend group in high school, they had like pretty like rough backgrounds, you could say, right? And that's why I'm speaking like kind of on their behalf.
Right.
And some of them turned out to be amazing people because they learned from the mistakes of their parents.
Right.
Other ones, I mean, they just smoke pot
So
all day.
do you think
everything else too?
Do you think there's a threshold of like how much trauma your parents can give you before you flip it and make it a good thing? Like you make it a positive outcome of like, okay, I'm not gonna do this. Or do you think it just depends on the person?
I think the threshold's the other way around. Whenever you exceed the threshold, then you become a terrible person. But if it's before the threshold, I think it's like I can learn this. I can be positive. Because some people, it's like learned helplessness in like a psychological perspective. So if they experience so much of that threshold, like it goes too far past it, they think all of humanity is that way.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever they have a negative outlook on life.
Right.
But if it's not exceeding it, I think they stand a pretty good shot of learning from it instead of just being like, well, the world's cooked anyway. I might as well go out here and have sex with 1,000 people or so.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
I think too. Granted, I think a lot goes into like how they're treated, just like in the process of like learning things, like your early developmental stages where you're trying to like learn how to be a human being. The way that your parents react to things is what you're gonna get out of it.
True.
Because I think, granted, it was from a stand-up, but I saw something that was like, a kid said that a muffin came out of his penis, and the mom like encouraged it, and the dad was like, "Don't encourage this. This is how serial killers are made. It's gonna be a documentary 20 years from now." And we sat down with a muffin penis killer, and he's like, I used to. My mom used to tell me that muffins came out of my penis, and then when I found out that they didn't, I just started killing women, because women lie.
Bro, what are you gonna do about it though? Like, there's nothing you can't prevent things from happening, especially when it's another person's choice.
Yeah,
Like
no.
your kid could just be destined, like God could have just destined your kid to be a serial killer. What are you gonna do
Well, I
about
don't
it?
think about that. I don't know if that's the case.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, there could have been things to prevent it, but how are you supposed to know that? How are you supposed to know exactly what to and what to not do in terms of parenting to make your kid the best that it could possibly be? I don't want to say it's impossible to do because obviously certain, like, you want to feed your child, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to take care of them, but there's certain things that they could get exposed to or not get exposed to that you can't necessarily control.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think honestly the concept is kind of that's one of those things where you can try to equate like science. You could get 1,000 scientists to sit down in a room and be like, okay, figure this problem out and don't come out until it's solved on like what makes a great person, but it's all over the place, bro. It's like throwing
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's like
it's
throwing
different for each person.
but like it doesn't. So I mean, one thing that I guess gives me peace of mind is like when I make mistakes, I know that there's no perfect person in the sense of like there's only been one, and it was the flesh of God. So it's like that's a big relief for me, but at the same time, it's like I know as long as I stand on, like I know this is for me, it's not for everybody, but as long as I stay to my core values, I know that God has something planned for me. Now, the further I get away from
Yeah.
God, the less likely I am to go into ventures that are not aligned with God and like
If you
what God's plan
stay
is for
within
me.
your own core and like if you actually stick with your own beliefs, you can't go wrong as a man. You can't
Right.
go wrong as anybody because I mean
Right.
that's the only way to live.
Yeah.
If you start going beyond that, I mean you're going to notice the consequence. Your
No, for sure.
personality is just going to be destroyed because
Absolutely.
you don't have an identity at that point. You don't know who
No,
you
for
are,
sure. Yeah.
and that's like the worst feeling on earth is not knowing who you are. And I think not knowing what you're supposed to do, that's a good thing because that means you can be anything.
Right.
But not knowing what you believe in or not knowing kind of who you are, that's terrible. That's how serial killers are made right there. Whenever they don't know what they are and they're just trying to get attention in a certain way. That's a big factor right there.
Yeah. But also, I feel like too, like in that sense, going off of like God could have made your kid to be a serial killer. I don't think that's the case because I feel like there has to be a lot of opportunities for good that were avoided to get to that bad. You know what I mean?
I will say though, like I think there's a plan for everything, right? And we can't understand that. So I think it's. I mean, I'm not a huge religious person, but I think it's entirely possible that that could have been part of a plan. It's like serial killer does this, so that more people learn for the future. It's like sometimes bad things have to happen for there to be better outcomes in the future. Like you have to learn about things, you know what I mean? Like mistakes have to be made in order for better outcomes to be had. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if that made
say
any
that
sense.
again.
So like I think that in order for there to be a better outcome, there has to be a mistake that was made in the first place for you to learn from it. And in that sense, I feel like God kind of plans that. I mean, I know sometimes it's like a horrible travesty, but sometimes more good can happen down the road and more things can
So
be learned
give me an
so that it's
example.
avoided. I mean, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but let's say like in nuclear warfare, like I know a lot of people may have been like killed previously, but at least like you can look at it as now we know that it's not beneficial for anybody to continue going into nuclear warfare.
Right.
But we had to learn that somehow. Like you had to figure this information out by testing.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you have to suffer a little bit in order to learn in some cases, or
Well,
like
and
the
that's
school shootings and stuff.
yeah.
Like now we have increased offenses in schools. It's less likely to happen, but something bad had to happen for them to learn that. In the first
Right.
place.
Well, I think two takeaways from that. One, I think that's directly derived from human nature. I don't think that comes from God. So like one thing about faith is like yeah, God made the world and God owns the earth, but Satan runs it. And that's directly tied
Fair.
to like free will. But going off of that, that in a sense made that kind of made my point of like your example with the nuclear warfare. Like you had to figure out that it could get to that point for it to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
there's plenty of places in that process that good could have happened. Like God being good. Like for me, good is God and evil is Satan, right? So like there's plenty of
Yeah.
possibilities for good to happen in that situation. For somebody to be like, you know what, we don't need to do this, but it never happened because it's just human nature, right? Well, we're imperfect beings. Like that's from the not from the start, but like ever since Eve bit the apple, like that's been the case. Like we're imperfect. So like there was plenty of good in that route of like I'm making the atom bomb because we're about to go to war and we're gonna drop it on Japan, right? Plenty of good opportunities came from that. You know, at any point in time, somebody in Japan could have been like, "Hey, we don't want war. Let's make peace." I mean, it says in the Bible, "Blessed are the peacemakers." So there's plenty of opportunities to avoid that, but because there was not enough God in that instance, like they didn't lean on the good like the good perspectives in that timeline, then it was ultimately just bad. Does that make sense?
I understand. I get what you're saying. It's just like whenever you said that God gave every person free will. So I mean, like it was in His will to allow us to have these choices. And I mean, one way or the other, no matter how bad that the consequences might be, at some point, the opportunity for learning and to be better is always there.
Yeah.
That's just what I believe. Like even though these people made god awful decisions that resulted in thousands of people dying, unfortunately, like at least you can look on the bright side of something. No matter how bad something actually turns out, but the fact that He gave us free will means that we can also have the free will to learn not to do it again.
That's fair.
I don't know. That's kind of the way I see it. It's like, yeah, obviously there was influences and it shouldn't happen in the first place. He might not have wanted people to die, but because people did die, that is sort of a learning opportunity at the same time.
Yeah, well,
it's
I think
an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, and one of the arguments I hate the most is like, well, if God's real, why did bad things happen? And what makes the most sense to me is like, for you to say that bad things happen means there has to be good. If you're saying there's a bad at this level, so like in your instance, like nuclear war is a thing. That's bad, right? We can agree on that. Then there has to be the outright good, and to me, that's God.
Yeah, you can't have light without dark.
Exactly.
I mean, as the old saying goes, you have to have both in order to appreciate what's good about the world.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it sounds crazy whenever I was talking about that. Like, sometimes it's not completely awful that millions of people died a couple years ago.
No. Definitely awful.
But I mean, is it better to sit here and be like, oh well, I mean that's awful. I guess we just better give up. It's time for us to all die. No.
Well, I mean, too,
you look at it and you don't do it again.
Right, and that kind of, I mean, that plays into a lot of kind of what the military is founded on. Like I just talked to a buddy who got out of the Navy. We're gonna have him on the podcast. It's gonna be a crazy episode, so you definitely need to be there for that. I'll keep y'all updated on that. But he just got back from the Navy, and he's telling me stories about like stuff that he's seen, and it's like super dark. Like as a civilian, listening to these stories. Granted, I have a dark sense of humor, anyways, but like I'm listening to these stories, like, oh, that's heavy. But
yeah, 100%.
In the context of what he's literally bombing things all day and going cleaning up the bodies. There's a disconnect, like it's a coping mechanism that your brain makes to avoid you just shutting down. Can you imagine what our army would look like if they weren't desensitized to death? If they just like went and shot somebody in the face and then everybody's just crying on the battlefield?
It's a necessary sacrifice. Unfortunately, that's the truth. You have to have that.
Yeah. I want to get into this. I have to pee. But
go pee, brother.
Don't forget that we're so bad at this. We'll start talking about something else. But do not let me forget this topic because I want to talk about this.
There was something I was going to say too, but I'll try to remember it whenever you get back.
Okay, I got this. What was the topic? Like, if you gave me a tidbit, I could.
Dude, what you just said in terms of like being desensitized to stuff, and then like if I want to be a surgeon, you kind of have to be desensitized to certain things in order to be good at your job. That's all I was going to really say.
Okay.
You can apply that to more than just the military.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, but it comes into the career path of like you can't have a surgeon that just throws up whenever he sees an open body cavity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back. I picked up the Duolingo put out a course on chess, and granted, I have a rough idea how to play, but I want to get good at it.
Okay. I was just talking about like a rough schematic, just learning the basics, right?
Huh?
I was talking like you playing chess. Whenever I said I've been able to play it since I was 10. Like I just meant.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like just learning the basics. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, like I had a general idea, but I heard a lot of business people talking about how it helps like business decisions if you know how to play chess, like setting up like stuff to play out in the future. So figured it would benefit me.
Any games like that really though. Maybe chess is the best example of it because there's such a high like competition. Like there's a lot of peak to it, but I think a lot of games can help with that. Not
That's
just
fair.
chess.
That's fair. But yeah, no, I've always wanted to play. I don't want to be a checker guy anymore.
Well, like I don't know where I heard this from, but I don't know if it was on TikTok or whatever, but I heard that the highest IQ game that people play is Rainbow. I don't know how much truth there is to that. In terms of like planning stuff out and then like learning how to execute them properly. Certain video games you can kind of, it can help you out a little bit.
That's fair. I feel like in that sense though, I don't like when it comes to a video game, I'm not playing that to be intellectual. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it for fun. Like I just want to run at somebody. And
at the same time, is that not also what you want to do whenever you're playing chess?
Well, yes.
You want to play chess to be intellectual instead of just playing a game.
I'm not playing chess on stream. Like I'm talking about when it comes to a good time. Granted, some people told me to do a stream doing puzzles.
Yeah, that would be successful.
They said that they would watch that over me playing Call of Duty, and I was like, that's fair. It wasn't a shot at my skill on Call of Duty. It was just that they don't have any interest in Call of Duty. Okay, I'm not bad.
I ain't making fun. I'm just saying, like, if you want to look at it as a game, you play it to have fun, and then I don't know. I just see the intellectual stuff as the same thing. If you're playing Rainbow or playing chess, like you could learn stuff from either, but I feel like it's better to go at the source. Like if you want to learn something, you better go study that thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think it's a skill gap issue. Not that I can't learn it. It's so far behind it. I don't really have any interest in playing Rainbow. It's just so slow. That's not what I want out of a first-person shooter. I want it to be fast-paced.
I was never good at any FPS. I had a .3 KD and was hard stuck platinum. Like whenever ranked 1.0 was out for Siege, I don't know if you know the difference, but back when rank actually kind of meant something, I just got carried by my friends. I was terrible at it.
Yeah. Well, even there's certain aspects of Call of Duty. Like I don't really play multiplayer in Call of Duty anymore. It's almost all Resurgence. But even if I do play multi to level up a gun or something, I'm only playing domination or something. I'm not playing search because people just it's just not the same fast pace that I want. You know what I mean?
Hey, we need to get back to the other topic that I almost forgot.
Yeah. So we're talking about the military. What was the context though? Or building a strong military. It goes on to the desensitization has to happen early, or you have soldiers that come back. Well, granted, everybody's gonna come back messed up. You know what I mean? Whether it's they've seen their buddy get shot next to them, or they just seen a dead body. There's gonna be some type of trauma that they have, and you never know exactly how that's gonna show because everybody handles it different.
Sir.
But like you said, it is a unfortunate necessity. But I did hear that there's talks of being robot wars within a 5 to 10 year range. And here's the concept of why. The reason I heard that a robot war would be bad is because there's no negative. At a war we fight now, we send, human beings to fight in this war. They get killed. that's a negative. We win the war, that's the positive. But if we are in a war that no humans are involved in, it's all robots that are controlled by humans hundreds of millions of miles away, there's no like decency, like there's not a sympathy aspect to war. It's just like, I'm trying to take your land, you're trying to take mine. Nobody's getting killed.
It's like you're just playing Rainbow, but you're just launching missiles at people.
Right. So it's like,
and you're okay with killing them.
And then, so like, okay, you're losing this war. Well, it doesn't matter. Nobody's died. Just give me more money so we can keep fighting in it. So like, that was like, I was like, interesting. I didn't think about that.
That's what the scary part is with nuclear warfare. That's like the ultimate example of just there's no sensitization whatsoever. Like it's just you press the button and you never have to see or hear anything else after.
Well, that's an interesting topic too. I think in the sense of, so there's only one country that has more nuclear warheads than we do. It's Russia. Now the issue with that is, Russia is the only. Well, let me backtrack. So when it comes to nuclear warheads, Russia has the most. It's like, 10,000 difference or something. But also, more than I know, it doesn't really matter how many you have. Granted, we have the highest military budget than any country. So, yeah, we might have 10,000 warheads. But we also don't know what we have to intercept warheads. Like, we know that they're there, something exists, but we don't know the depths of it as civilians. So, yeah, they might launch nuclear warheads, but are they going to make it here?
Right.
And then, I think the only thing that is that plays a factor in why Russia's a risk is because that's the, like, as we've seen with this Ukraine-Russia incident, no country is messing with us toe to toe when it comes to military abilities. Like, it's not even close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Russia is a very prideful country in the sense of their citizens are willing to die for their pride. So if it did come to that, then they know it's the end anyways. Like if it gets to the point where Russia's like, hey, we're sending this nuke, be with your families, that everybody's just accepted the fact that that's the end goal. Like that's, okay, we're dying with pride.
I mean, the reason better be really good if they're willing to go down that route.
Yeah.
Because like once you press that button, I mean, I think the only reason nuclear weapons would have been like developed is for retaliation purposes, at least in terms of the United States military. Ironically, whenever I was taking that stupid MCAT, there was one of the like entire passages was based on like the development of nuclear weapons. And it's kind of fascinating, but I don't know. I feel like even for retaliation, there's no point whatsoever. Like everybody's just cooked, so I don't know. I don't see that ever really happening.
Yeah, no. I mean,
unless there was some crazy occurrence, but that's really all I can think of.
I mean, granted, I think the presidential change for us made it less likely to happen. Not getting too political, but I mean, in my opinion, that seemed to be the case. I mean, we went from, we're right here, we're about to go to nuclear war, and then it was like, okay, let's settle down, children. But so here's what's interesting, right? I learned this. I learned this not too long ago. So Russia. So like as of right now, we have the most sought after like superpower when it comes to governments in the sense of like highest military funding, like superpower. Granted, like our way of living is not like the number one standard, but like it's sought after. If it wasn't sought after, people wouldn't come here illegally. But with that being said, we created an industrial complex, a military industrial complex, right? So we're the only one that has one that sustains the way it does. And you know how you sustain the military industrial complex? You fight in wars. And when we're not fighting in wars, our government tends to not to be the best. But just because we're not fighting in wars doesn't mean we're not fighting in wars. So, like, American soldiers could die in training, but it's really just a war that we're fighting in as basically mercenaries that we're getting paid by this government because we have the military abilities to do that. So, like, even if we're not actively fighting in wars, we're fighting in wars because if we wouldn't be making money as a government. But with that being said, so we have this military-industrial complex. Countries come to us like, hey, we want to start a country. Like, we need money from you to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. Our stipulation is, as a democracy, you have to be a democracy. You have to set up polling. You have to do X, Y, Z to get this money. And it's like basically a payment plan. Like, you have to pay us back X amount of money. Well, the issue with that is Russia is slowly building their military, I think it's China. Yeah, China's building their military-industrial complex. Like, they've started doing if you go back to the, not the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. So the purpose of the Civil War, the common takeaway is it was for slavery. That's not the case. Ultimately, win or lose, South or North, or the Union or the South, whoever won, was going to be one nation. And it's a lot easier to defend one nation, as in one border by ocean and one border by land. Okay? Because you're thinking at the time, Mexico's, it's not a thing necessarily. But they had to be able to defend. The first step of a military-industrial complex is you have to be able to defend your homeland. So the first step of the Civil War was defining the borders of, okay, this is one country, we can defend land and we can defend sea. That was the main takeaway of the Civil War. So China has been slowly building their military-industrial complex to get to the point of America's. Now here's the issue with that. They're not equal to us, but if they were equal to us, because I don't think they'd pass us because we've been doing it our country's younger than theirs, but we've been a military-industrial complex longer. But the issue with them being equal to us is that gives other countries an option of who they go with to solve their issues. So we are very much the carrot and the stick government of, okay, you want this, then you have to do it this way. China is very much the stick government. You're going to do it this way, or this is going to happen. So you get that option to, let's say, small country, perhaps, let's say you give that option to, I wouldn't say Cuba, because Cuba's, been struggling since we pulled the rug out from under them. Let's say Iran, right? Iran comes to China, hey, we want funding to do X, Y, and Z. And China says, okay, here's your money. We want payments, we don't care what you do. Opposed to us saying, okay, you have to have a democracy, you have to do polls every year, you have to do this, whatever. China's just going to give them the money and be like, okay, do what you want. But I expect payments every so often, right? And then they have their stick. That's the stick method of okay, you're just going to do it. Here you go. You pay me back or this is going to happen. Then people have the option. Do I want to do it the easy way or do I want to do it the harder way, which is our way in the sense of I have to actually plan opposed to just going out and being reckless. So in the sense of going to war, no country's messing with us unless it's nuclear. And at that point, hopefully we avoid that before it happens. But the way I see it, it doesn't really matter anyways because Jesus is coming back. But on the adverse to that, nobody's messing with us with war, but China could potentially in the future, if we don't start upping our game in the economy, they could get to a point where they compete with us, which would be concerning in the context. Interesting stuff.
I mean, it is, but I mean, I have no commentary whatsoever because it's I don't have I mean, I guess I would have an opinion, but it's it's not gonna really change anything, right? I mean, unless I was a political figure. You know, I'm just kind of suffering, if that makes sense. If the whole world blows up tomorrow, like, what am I gonna do about it?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to, like, what's the old saying? The war machine keeps rolling. Like, that's kind of what we're founded on. Like, there's not a war. We're going to fight in somebody else's. We're going to get paid. That's how military-industrial complex works. Now, granted, that's why I think we need to get out of that, because I'm definitely pro, like, peace. Like, I don't think anybody should be having wars, especially over senseless stuff.
I mean, I'm sure you've heard the phrase "conquer or be conquered." It's very popular for a reason.
Well, also, too,
it's like if you don't, like, yeah.
No, go ahead.
What is it?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're not willing to, like, at least fight for what you have or try to get more land, like if you don't have the drive to get something else, then eventually you're gonna become a pusher.
Right.
That's just the way I take it. Like, you could expand that to, like, the concepts of entire countries. Like, if you're not trying to expand your wealth or expand, you know, almost the property, the land that you have for your country, then, I mean, you're kind of destined to die, because eventually you're just going to, like, you're kind of going to be okay with everything. You're just going to let somebody else take control instead.
Well, also, too, in the sense of, like, a lot of people's, like, there's certain aspects to, like, border security that people don't understand in the religious standpoint, but, like, in the Bible, I can't remember the way it's phrased exactly, but, like, there's no faith without nations. So, like, to be a nation, you have to have defined borders. That's kind of in the definition of nation. So, like, yeah, it's important. Borders are more important biblically than people think in human nature. But, like, also to the same extent, Russia's huge, bro. It's like, is it 4 different time zones or 10 different time zones?
It ain't 4, because we're 4 different time zones.
Yeah. So it's
the
like,
United States is 4. So
it's like
the rest
10,
has to be 10.
It's like 10 different time zones.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild stuff. Granted, I used to think about it a lot. I don't really anymore. Couldn't be bothered by it. I'm just worried about.
I mean, I did whenever I was younger, like in high school, I thought about stuff like that. But then now it's just, I just look at it, and I mean, this might be the wrong way to view it. What am I going to do if the absolute worst happens between our governments? Like, what can I do? We'll have free will, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
An entire country of people, an entire military has free will. I mean, it is what it is, unfortunately.
Ultimately, I think it just at some point, like, you think about, like, it makes me think as like a believer in Christ on, like, where we're at now compared to where we were. There's a point in time where, yeah, there was multiple religions, but, like, heavily Christian, and now it's, like, all over the place, and Christian values are more, no, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but, like, less common. So I feel like in that sense, like, the further we've gotten away from God, the worse things have gotten.
I mean, even if you're not religious, you can at least respect that Christianity has, like, a set, like, rule guide. You know, how to be a better person, how not to screw other people over. So, right. I mean, even if you're not religious, then that makes perfect sense, because whenever more people follow a religion and they believe what has been written in front of them and they start to follow these rules, yeah, the world's going to be a better place.
No, absolutely.
Because of the fact that the entire purpose of the book is to make you a better person, to make that nation a better nation. You have something to believe in. You have a common goal. That's why I feel like the most powerful countries are ones that are heavily centered on religion, because they have something to believe in. They have a purpose.
Yeah.
They have something to believe in better than themselves.
But also not.
I feel like that's what's wrong with a lot of American people. I feel like. That's just me.
Well, but also not, though. Like you said, some of the best countries are centered around religion?
I meant, like, in terms of nationalism belief. The best countries is in, like...
Like strongest. Like most unity.
Yeah, like... Yeah. United
okay.
In terms of...
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe not the best, like,
I thought you meant, like, in
people,
strength. And I was like, let's chill out.
No. I mean, a lot of those countries can get blown up. The best in terms of, like, having a united nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, of having a united people for something common.
Yeah.
And that actually have something to work for. Yeah.
I get that.
But what I was saying about like America, it's like there's so many different belief systems, and individualization has been pushed so hard. We don't have a common goal anymore because it's like we're fighting ourselves again.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like we're closer to a civil war than we were back in the 1800s because there's so many different beliefs that everybody just lets fly. If we don't have a common goal and we don't have an enemy, we're just going to start fighting amongst ourselves. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
That's fair.
I feel like we're more at risk of, each other than we are of other nations.
Right, and I mean, in that sense, if you think about it that way, then I mean, it just makes
That's
sense.
scary.
It just makes sense on why Bush did 9/11.
Not a political stream.
Well, it's not political. It's a conspiracy theory.
No, I mean, I know a lot of people. I don't know if I told you this, but some of my parents actually, they think the same thing. 100%. Which I haven't researched a lot into 9/11, so I mean, I couldn't tell you.
Wait,
But they believe
hold
that
on,
it was 100%.
hold on. Wait a minute. You couldn't tell me if you believe the conspiracy theory or not? Is that what you mean?
I mean, I can tell you that I don't think it was because like I feel like I believe in the better outcome for the nation that I live in. Like it's better for me to believe that it was not an inside job, so that's what I'm going to believe just because I haven't done a crazy amount of research into it.
I got you. But you aren't interested?
And then I somewhat, but I mean, I haven't done that kind of research into why 9/11 happened. I'm just going to believe what most of the history books have told me, or most of the sources that I've looked at, like whenever I had to do high school projects. I mean, personally, I don't think that it was, inside, but
okay, well,
that's just my
let me ask you this.
opinion, I guess.
If something seems too good to be true, then what is it?
True. It's not. I mean, it's not going to be true.
Well, so.
But then, what's too good to believe about, 9/11?
Was it's more
That
like
makes sense.
I mean it's the same. I don't know what the saying would be, but like there's so many things that go against what we've been told that don't make sense. And like there's a lot of things we don't know about or we didn't know about that now it's like, okay, what are we doing? So like,
You know what? Well, go ahead. Finish what you're going to say.
no, it was gonna be a minute. So go ahead and make your point.
I mean, kind of what we were talking about before. You know how I said that if we don't have an enemy, then we're going to eventually start fighting ourselves? So let's say that it was, like if Bush arranged it or something, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason why.
Hypothetically.
He wanted to have some kind of enemy that wasn't ourselves, so that we were united together
Exactly.
for a common purpose.
But
which is
also,
exactly what we were talking about.
but also this right here. A lot of people benefited from financially from going to war, and that is a lot of people that I know of claim that there's some type of blood, like I can't remember what the god is, but there's like a god that is idolized by like higher ups in society. It's like a blood sacrifice god. You like sacrifice blood to it. Very strange. It's weird stuff. I haven't gotten into it because I know there's one god, that man up there. But anyways, besides the point, that people think that that's a thing, right?
Okay.
But there's a lot of monetization that comes from war. So like you look at Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney has made almost every dollar he's ever made through war. So like Dick Cheney was like either a VP or a president of a company that was put in charge of building communities in Afghanistan for veterans, like for active military. So like this company would come in, set up a town, like build a McDonald's, build a Burger King. They take care of all the trash. They do all this stuff to maintenance this military base halfway across the world. Suspicious that Dick Cheney, who has been in, hands in pockets of politicians for years, that's where he's at. But also, too, going off the tip, is like it was for I think a large part of what you're saying, like they had to be an enemy that wasn't ourselves. And if you talk to people who are alive and cognitive at that time, there was no time that they know more than that time that everybody was so American. Like there was American flags everywhere. So if that is the case,
Exactly.
and
That's what they wanted.
and George Bush may or may not have done 9/11, that might have been the reasoning.
Well, even if that's not like, it's not the case or whatever. Like, let's say that it was just Al Qaeda over there, and was it Iraq? It was Iraq, right?
Yeah, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Iran, Iraq. I mean,
Yeah.
like the song lyrics say, you can't tell the difference between them.
I mean, it's like there's a lot,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get you. Continue.
Dude, I don't even know what I was going to say at that point. It's just let's say like staged or whatever.
Okay.
I feel like there was a reason why, and is it really worth looking into? Because let's say that I find out that it was, and what happens to me? Imagine how many people they had to either give hush-hush money or hush-hush is shot because you do find out.
Well, also too now.
I don't know. I feel like that there's a lot of hurdles that had to be jumped if it was staged, and I think that's even more like I think that's harder to believe than just believing that it was Al Qaeda.
Okay, well let me ask you this. Okay. You're president. 9/11 happens. It's not an inside job. It just so happened to happen when George Bush wasn't in office, so it wasn't an inside job. Okay? So you're the president. Okay?
Yeah.
You run the mission.
I'm not making it to med school, bro. I'm out.
Bro,
If the admissions committee sees this, I'm cooked.
Bro, it's a hypothetical. We're having a hypothetical conversation, bro. If you're watching this and you're on the board to put Colby through med school, this is a hypothetical conversation. Okay, so you're the president, and you're the president after the president who was there for 9/11. Okay, so say it was George Bush, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, may or may not have. You're the next president.
Yeah.
You're the next president. You run the mission.
Preach, brother, preach.
You run the mission to kill Osama bin Laden. Okay. It's a success. They call you. Hey, we got him. Okay, bring him home. Would you order them to throw the body in the ocean, or would you have them bring it back here?
I wouldn't care as long as he was dead. If I'm honest with you.
Okay, fair enough. I was just curious on what your takeaway would be.
I mean, that's what I think.
But also, do you
what
not?
I was gonna say earlier.
But that's what I was saying. It was just like so many things that were like weird. Like, why did that happen? Especially like watching. There's a Osama bin Laden documentary. I think it's like Killing Osama or something. I can't remember what it is. It's on Netflix. It's really solid. And it like goes all the way back to the events of 9/11 and then through us getting him.
I feel like either way you look at it, if it was or was not staged or whatever, the reasoning was probably the same. And I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. I mean, the United States could have probably have used a little bit more unity to have a common enemy. And I mean, that was the outcome, whether or not it was staged or whether it was actually Al Qaeda. So looking at it from that perspective, it's like, what's the difference? Let's say it was, let's say it wasn't. One thing, I can't do anything about it. And then at least had the benefit of like uniting America for a common goal.
Yeah.
So that we didn't fight ourselves. So to me, it's like, why would I look into it if I see the outcome at the end, like we were talking about earlier, as in you learn from like the mistakes or whatever, or you become better? Like, I think we became a better nation because of the grief that we suffered, like as a society or whatever. So I don't know. Just looking at it from that point of view, I don't see why I would even want to know the truth. If that wasn't the truth, I think I would just let it be because I can't change it. And then I think it was probably for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it just for money. Like, yeah, that's fair. But there had to at least be one actually decent fundamental reason besides cash inflow. But who knows?
I don't know.
I mean, cash is king, though. I would do a lot for money. I told you what I'd do for a certain sum of money. That's not going to be disclosed. Bro, I would do some things for money, but not that.
No, yeah, I get you. But also, too, going off of what you said, it doesn't matter. It's interesting.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, like, I feel like I am very pro-American in the sense of what we were founded on, like freedom to religion, freedom, the right to do what we wanted to do. I'm very pro-American that standpoint. I am very, in a sense, not anti-government, but I could do without it.
Oh, that's fair. I think that's an interesting topic for me, where you blur the lines between independence and then having too much independence.
Right.
That's whenever it's very dangerous. Whenever you let people get away with too many stupid things, then that's whenever a nation falls apart.
Right. No, for sure.
And that's what scares me. That's when you need a stronger government.
And I seen somebody talking about like the concept of who do they use? Like United Airbids, right? What is the? They used.
You talking about the UAE?
Yeah, the UAE. So they used the UAE as an
Okay.
example, and they were like, "Would you rather your wife?" These are like people knowledgeable of UAE and like how they function in the Middle East. It was like, "Would you rather have your wife walk by herself at night in New York or in the UAE?" And they're like, "The UAE."
The UAE.
I'm
100%.
not anti-American, but in the Middle East, they don't let the small crimes slip, like, because small crimes spiral to bigger crimes. Like robbery spirals to murder.
You can leave your keys to a Ferrari if you're walking around like Dubai.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna mess with it at all, and that's why a lot of
you get your
rich people
hands
are
cut
attracted
off.
to go to that area.
Yeah, you get your hands cut off.
Yeah,
Is me driving this Ferrari for 10 minutes worth losing a hand over?
Heck no.
No, I'd much rather just work hard and get my own Ferrari. Yeah.
You need a strong government for that, bro. Or
Right.
people are gonna do stupid
Right.
things. That's the nature of the beast.
But yeah, I think that's one thing a lot of the time. I mean, granted, I've seen it firsthand with Matea being a parole officer. But like, there's a lot of small stuff that in America we let go, and it usually spirals into something big.
Mhm.
And that's not something
And
they
then now,
play
I mean,
with in the Middle
people-
East.
I think it's to the point now where, I mean, it's normalized to believe delusional thoughts. Like, just straight up facts that aren't even true are socially acceptable to
Right.
be believed.
Right.
And that's where I think that the gray area needs to become black and white, where I'm not saying like a punishment should be enforced, but it should at least be like, there should at least be some sort of stigma around having like crazy beliefs, because that's ultimately dangerous for the purposes of having a country.
Well, I disagree.
But then again, one way or the
in what sense though? Like what like just example of beliefs that are crazy, like that are dangerous.
Well, crazy, dangerous beliefs, like any belief that would lead you to harm other people because
Yes.
you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right.
Or something so delusional that it's ultimately harmful to a country.
Physically harm?
Any emotionally harmful, physically harmful. Like there's certain pushes with younger generations now that it's okay to be anything. If you know what I'm trying to beat around the bush, what I'm saying.
I get you.
And that's kind of harmful because but if you don't have some sort of role, that's like what you're supposed to be.
But the adverse to that, if I called you fat, that's also harmful. And that, and how do I say this with beating around the bush? From that direction, saying somebody's fat is also the same amount of harm as stabbing somebody.
Well, I think here's the big kicker for me when it comes to stuff like that. If you looked at me and said I'm fat or I have a little bit of extra weight, at least you're telling me the truth. At least you're telling me something that has a little bit of
I don't think you're fat.
reasoning for it.
Just to clarify.
I'm just saying. Like,
Fair.
TJ called me fat on stream,
Fair,
guys.
fair enough.
Oh my gosh, look at this guy.
Well, see,
no,
look, I've talked about this too.
Just saying.
I've talked about this too. I feel like I've talked about this at Easy Brother. I've talked about this on the pod, but it comes down to the delivery. If you go up to somebody random on the street and like, you're fat, you're disgusting. Why? Like, you don't know this person. But
it depends on the intention and the reception.
Right.
I think.
Right. So like,
That's a big thing.
if you were to gain 50 pounds and I was like, Kobe, bro, what's going on? Like, you're getting fat. What can I do to help you? Like, I want to see you live a long, happy life, and you having a high blood pressure and high cholesterol and diabetes, you're not going to live that long, happy life. But because
Yeah.
I know you, I can say it in that way. Like, you got to know your target audience in a sense, I guess.
At least there could be a positive outcome with that too. It's like you're telling me that so that I can be a better person. But
Right.
the delusional lies that I'm talking about, it's like, yeah, it might make them feel good for a while, but is it really good in the end?
Right.
In terms of like having a stable population and things like
Like,
that.
if they accept that
It
as
harms the general public.
yeah, if they accept that as their full truth, eventually will they resent you for giving that false truth to them? Yeah,
There you go.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, that, but also too, like, I think one thing that you can't regulate is opinion. Now,
Yeah, like I said, can't do it.
granted, there's a difference between opinion and call to action. So, like, you saying I believe this is different than you saying I believe this and you should do it too. That's different.
Mm-hmm. That's like forcing a belief. That's
Right.
looked down upon, but believing something's fine.
Or even in that, in the same concepts of call to action would be the same premises, like kind of what you're going off of going to children and being like, oh, this is a real thing and you can do it if you want to. You tell a kid that. You could tell a kid, oh, you could survive your entire life only eating ice cream. They're gonna believe that, and they're only gonna want to eat ice cream.
Because that's what they want to believe in the
Right.
first place. It makes it easier.
Right.
It provides an easy way out. And
Yeah.
that's not often the best course to go through, as
Right.
you know.
Right. So it's like,
As anybody on the right side would probably agree with.
yeah, but it ultimately, like, I think there's a fine line there. Like, once you're past, oh, this is my opinion, not calling people to believe the same thing, just saying this is my opinion. You're well in your bounds as an American to have that opinion. But once you get to the point of this is my opinion, you need to believe it too. Now you're calling to action.
You need to respect the opinion too.
Right.
If it affects my life, I don't think I should have to respect it. If it's just for you, I can respect it just for you, but that doesn't mean I have to have any part in it.
Not even that. I can
People get that confused all the time.
Not even that. I can respect you for having that opinion, but I do not agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very pro. I'm pro Second Amendment. You have the right to say whatever you want to say. It could be crazy, and if I disagree with it, I might say, "Hey, I don't disagree." But that's you have the freedom to say that. Granted, you might want did I say second?
Yeah, you said second.
I was going off my earlier conversation, but yeah, First Amendment. By all means, if that's what you believe,
I got you, brother. I got you.
I appreciate it. By all means, if that's what you believe, cool. But I'd probably watch who you say it around.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
But where that becomes dangerous too is like, whenever people have children, right? Is it not within bounds for them to also pass on these beliefs to their kids, or is that whenever you're enforcing it on somebody else, like willingly? That's when I think that's really dangerous too.
No, for sure. I think it should be in the kid, but also too, that's a catch-22 itself. So like, I very much believe as a parent, I'm not gonna influence Evie to do anything, right? If Evie wants to do something, she, like, by all means, if that's what you want to do, we'll do it. And we're going to do it full tilt. We're not half in, half out. If you want to play softball, we're playing softball. I'm getting you all the stuff to play. The second you don't want to, you're finding something else to do, and we'll full dive into that. But we're not half in. It's full bought in. But that comes with the catch-22 of, I'm not going to force anything on Evie, but I know that as a parent, me or Matea doing something is going to encourage Evie to do it. And that's just natural. Like, that's a natural thing, because it could be something, so in the sense of bad, right? From a Christian standpoint, cussing would be that bad thing, right? I haven't cussed once. It's a way different person than who you were talking to in the office, a couple months ago.
Heck yeah, 100%.
One being faith. I learned that what I say holds weight, regardless of if it feels like it or not. But two, I have a copy and paste of myself who copies everything I do. And I don't want to, Not like for the image, but like just Christian values in general. I don't want Evie to be that kid that's got a bad mouth. That's not what I want. Cleaned it up. So the good would be like if Matea is reading or something, Evie already does it. Or like on her phone, Evie does it. She grabs it, acts like she's doing something, like she doesn't know what she's doing. She's one. But the concept's there. There's going to be things that she picks up from us naturally because she watches this enough. But I feel like if you're directly like, you need to do this, here, XYZ. Like, I mean, to an extent, like, it gets to a point of a grooming aspect of like, oh, I'm making them do this. Like, if your kid's like, I'm tired of this. That's too bad. Keep on. That concept.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more impactful to show instead of telling.
Right.
Because showing is like saying that I'm an adult, I'm your father, and this is the way I live my life, so maybe it would help you, right? It's not as direct, but it's a lot more effective than just saying you need to do this, you need to do that.
Right. Because I mean, ultimately, as much as I would like Evie to, be super athletic and do XYZ, it comes down to her.
Totally up to her.
Although she's got the athletic, she has to have some form of athletic genes because there's nobody in either of our families that don't have it. So like she's got to have it. It's just a matter of if she wants to do it or not. Would it kill me to be going to like music pageants? Nah, I like music. What do I not like?
Academic team meetings.
No, because that would be fun to watch too.
This is an idea.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that'd kind of be sick, bro. Me and Evie's just having debates about random things.
I wish it was like that.
I'm trying to think of something. I guess in the sports world, like would I enjoy it if Evie chose to play soccer? Yeah, because it's Evie, but I don't like soccer.
I mean, that's fair to say. Doesn't matter if you enjoy it as long as your kid enjoys it.
Absolutely.
That's enough for you to like it.
Yeah. I will get joy out of it because I see her getting joy out of it. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to watch. I mean, like if she asked me, hey, Dad, will you watch a soccer match with me? Yeah, I'll do it. But I won't enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's just because your daughter likes it that you kind of have to.
Now, if she gets into hockey, let's go. You watch hockey? Bro.
I haven't watched a single game.
You gotta go and watch a game.
I ain't got no male hobbies. Like that's like one of the last things I remember you told me. I think it was during the SRA interview or after. He was like, "Bro, you need to find some like guy hobbies."
Yeah. So what do you do?
Like, bro, if I had time, I would.
What's your free time consist of?
Bro, it's either studying or prepping for something else that's going to happen in the future. That's what it's been for the past 2 years.
Yeah, and then
before then, I used to play.
Well, yeah, I think the context of that though was like you tag along to things that you don't have any interest in, right? I feel like
that's the thing because I'm sacrificing anything that I really have an interest in, just so that I can do it later in life. So I'm telling you the truth. I would rather have the most boring, mundane life for the next 5 years, but then have like a pretty good life for the next 10 after that. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll just sit down and watch Netflix, but I mean, I don't like to do it for long. I find that's kind of what my problem is. The things that I used to find entertaining, anything that I did like doing for a while, even like playing basketball. I used to go to the Y like every now and then just to get it, literally to get off campus and do whatever. I couldn't be satisfied for long because I'm sitting here thinking like, I could be doing something more productive that, helps me get into med school. Like that's the current goal. So every time that it's like I have a little bit of time to do something for myself, why am I doing that instead of pushing myself forward? Like, why am I not going to the gym? Why am I not filling out this application? Why am I not studying? Et cetera, et cetera. And it's one thing after the other. While I was in school, it's like, oh, you got this test. Oh, you got to go to this meeting. Oh, you got to do this presentation in front of Dr. Sheet. And it just keeps going like that. And it's like a never-ending cycle.
I get that. What do you think? What is your biggest flaw, you think?
Dude, that's a really good question.
Do you want me to go first and you can think about it?
You want to, yeah. What I was gonna say, even if you say something's like a flaw, there's always a good side to it. Like you can have like the good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
Like let's say if you overthink a lot, there's positives that come along with it.
Yeah.
So that was gonna be my instinct reaction to say, but in certain scenarios, it's like I thank God that I do
Okay.
because it's
So,
preparing me to
well,
get where I
okay,
am.
but you're saying off of anything that's a negative, like anything that's a flaw.
Yeah. I mean that's the first thing that came to my mind
Okay.
because that's like the thing
All right.
that
Let me throw some flaws at you, and you tell me
yeah.
what the positive is. We'll play a game. What about like being lazy? What's the positive of that?
You at least enjoy your life.
But
You
like,
find
I feel like
entertainment and leisure.
though, I know plenty of people that are lazy. They're like, I hate it, but they just can't break it because they're so lazy.
I mean, is that really them though? Because to me, being lazy is just having like no ambition to do anything, right? And they're just content with things, and
Mm.
that's okay with it. At least they have a little bit of ambition, and they're saying, "Yeah, I shouldn't be lazy." I don't think that's real laziness. I think that's just
Bored.
I don't even. Yeah, I would just call that boredom.
Mm. Okay, you make a valid point there,
But
Colby.
at least then, if they're bored, they have self-awareness. At least they know themselves. Like there's a good thing. I don't know. There's a positive with anything you could look at.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
there you go.
Well, see, and that made sense to me in the sense of what I was going to say. My biggest flaw is I'm a big self-deprecator. And I do it in a sense of motivation for myself, but like Mateo doesn't see it that way. Like Mateo in a sense feels bad to tell me, like, not tell me that I'm doing things wrong, but like point out things that I could improve on because I get very hard on myself to correct those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like the positive to that would be like I want to be better. Like I don't want somebody to look at me and be like, "Oh, you could do this, this, and this better." Like I want to be better in every facet of my life. But the negative is I'm constantly finding things that I can improve on, and I self-deprecate for it. Also, there's a two-part to that because I think I saw a video and they were talking about like whatever God blessed you with is your biggest vice for like dealing with conflict. I can't remember the exact context, but he said like self-deprecation means that you're a natural leader. Like God blessed you with the ability to lead, and you self-deprecate because you hold yourself to a higher standard because people are watching what you do. And I felt that.
But I mean, like you said, it's really hard to answer that question if you think about it a little bit more because I wouldn't change the way that I am. Even my flaws, because they also are directly correlated with anything that I'm good at. So if I didn't, let's say, overthink things, then I would underthink certain things, and that's not going to be a good scenario for me to be in for the life course that I want.
That's fair.
So I mean, I can look at it as a flaw.
Well, I didn't say what flaws do you need to correct. I just said what's your biggest flaw. I didn't say what's the biggest thing you need to fix. I said what's your biggest flaw. I didn't say like what's the thing that's gonna kill you. I didn't say that.
Think about the. I mean, the way that I answered it tells you. You know what I mean? I said overthinking. I overthought the question.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's fair. So you said your positive to that would be like you don't underthink anything. Like you never miss something because you didn't put enough thought into it.
Oh, I wouldn't say never. It's just. I guess it provides more direction for where I could be in the future because I would overthink something as opposed to underthinking it. I think, like, just in general, if you want to be in a, especially going through school, right? Overthinking a lot of these, like if you're taking a test, just as an example, it's better to overthink something than to not understand it, underthink. You have to be able to comprehend things at a pretty high level to do certain things, like in the classroom, outside of the classroom. Like not just for medicine, but I mean, if you want to go like teach or something, you have to be able to think pretty well.
Right.
And sometimes that requires overthinking to an extent.
Yeah,
Just because there's a lot of factors that you also have to consider whenever you're answering questions or like trying to understand the content so that you can explain it to somebody else. There's a lot of exceptions to these rules and stuff you better be prepared for, like if you're taking a test. I think that's part of the reason why I overthink a lot of things is because it's helped me out previously.
I got you.
Like getting here.
That makes sense. What? So, going off of our other conversation, kind of full circle moment before we get off here.
Amen.
What do you think God has planned for you in the sense of career path opposed to what you have planned for yourself?
If I knew the answer to that, I think I would change the career path that I have envisioned for myself, but I have no idea what the answer to that question is. Because if I did, my career path would be totally different.
Okay, well let me ask you a follow up. What do you think? What skills did God bless you with that eventually is going to lead you to your destination that God has planned for you? Let me ask that question.
You cut out for just a second for me. Did you say like what skill set you have that will get you there?
Yeah.
In the end.
Yeah. Well, like what do you think God blessed you with skill wise that's going to get you to where His end goal is for you?
Determination, reasoning, pretty good work ethic. But I mean that's debatable because you develop that later. And like I was saying, the ability to analyze things
Logically.
Yeah, very logically. And I hate to say this, but sometimes being a little bit unemotional towards things makes it easier to tell somebody unfortunate news because you're desensitized to it already. So I mean that's another thing that I feel like I've kind of been blessed with. I know that's good. That sounds absolutely insane, like being unempathetic. Why would you want to be that? But I can understand why.
But like
It makes
also,
things easier.
well, see, when you say it like that, I get where you're coming from in the sense of like you understand the context of the situation. Like, yeah, this is the worst thing that this is the worst thing this person's gonna hear, maybe ever. But like,
You still have to do it because
right.
the purpose is above the emotion.
Yeah.
Some people don't understand that. They think so emotionally that they literally let their feelings control the logical thought processes that go on in their head. You can't do that.
Are you talking about a particular gender or?
Nope. No, actually wasn't. I'm just saying like in general.
I know.
Just,
I was making a joke.
I can't think emotionally like that, and I don't want to.
Right.
It might make my life easier, and like I might be able to better connect with people, but in order to help society in the ways that I think that I can and want to, you have to be a little bit unempathetic to the extent that you don't think emotionally, you think what's logically best for this person. And I know that I can do that.
No, for sure. I think
that,
too.
like,
that's gonna
deep in my core.
Those qualities are gonna make you a good husband and a good father. Like somebody be able to look at something logically and like get the like, especially with your overthinking, like you'll be able to decipher information from a situation that's happening and know what the outcome's gonna be ahead of time.
And sometimes that comes across as like being cold or heartless and stuff like that. But it's because like you're kind of thinking a little bit, not even necessarily deeper, but you're thinking ahead so far that it's hard to kind of backtrack to the simple things.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if, because I was like I said, I see a lot of me and you when I was your age. I'm curious to see if having kids puts a heart in that steel chest of yours.
I hope it does.
Yeah, no, I think it will. Because same for me. Is like, I was so like logically driven. I didn't really think emotionally. It was very straightforward, and like I had. Granted, it comes into the play of like people say you get the child you deserve, like that you need. And like for me, I definitely needed a girl. I needed to be more connected to my emotional side. And I wasn't. I was so far from that. Like it was always logic, and me and Matea's not fights because we don't fight. It's like a disagreement or conversations. A lot of them leaned because I was too logically thinking. So having an emotion like having more of an emotional pill now that I have a daughter definitely helped me out.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. And I feel like a daughter would help me in that regard too.
Yeah.
But it might also make me a worse, like, if I go that route. I don't think I would be as good of a surgeon if I thought a little bit too emotional. But then
Yeah.
again, there are a lot of aspects
Well,
that
granted-
it would help me out a lot too, like with just basic bedside manner. That's
Yeah.
really important too.
Right.
If you're trying to be a physician.
Granted, I'm not saying like I'm just like this soft, I'm going to cry at any instance. I'm more emotionally connected to the people around me. I can be more logically think. Well, granted, too, it's a two-parter because I got to go with God, too. So it's like I think logically still, but it's like I have a emotional connection. I have a better sense of my emotions when talking to people because I'm tied up in faith, but also because I have a daughter. But like when it comes to Mateo and Evie, they say something. It's gonna sound like so soft, but in the sense of like, if they're feeling an emotion, then I feel the emotion. Cause like
I mean, that's the definition
right,
of empathy.
yeah.
That's what it is.
But it's like I love them so much that I don't want them to be going through the emotion they're going through. So then I get emotional thinking about the emotions that they're going through.
It's like they always say you live through your children. Whenever you finally have kids, I mean, they literally become your new life. That's what you live for at that point.
Oh, for sure.
You live for someone else, finally.
Yeah. No, for sure. 100%. Granted, I mean, I kind of was doing that anyways with Matea, but I think the biggest thing for me is like, yeah, you're willing to die for them, but are you willing to live for them? And that definitely was a big factor in like pushing me in this direction. It's like, yeah, okay, you'll die for them. So will everybody else. But will you live for them? Will you eat healthier? Will you clean up the way you're talking? Will you have better core values? That's living.
You're willing to make sacrifices for them.
Right. Not just waking up every day and doing something to pass the time or make money. That's not living. It's basically just treading water.
But interestingly enough, that's the same thing where we're talking about, like, not taking the easy way out. Sometimes you have to challenge yourself and not think emotionally, not let how you're feeling dictate what you want to do. Sometimes you have to do things because you need to do them, like, as a man, as to say.
Right.
You have to do it for the betterment of the people around you, not because you want to do it, but because it's going to help you and then, more importantly, everybody that's around you.
I mean, dude, you're speaking to the room right now because that's how I feel right now. Cutting people off, standing firm on what I believe in, believing in my pillars, which are Mateo and Evie. Like the concept a lot of people get lost on is like when you start your own family, you no longer like whatever family you had growing up is now extended family. Your family is me. My family is me and Evie and Mateo.
So it's a lot different whenever you finally choose the family that you have.
Absolutely.
Instead of just being born into it.
Absolutely. And in that context, I don't love my sisters any less, but they're not my main priority. I don't love my brother any less, but he's not my main priority. Do I want to help them? Yeah, absolutely. And I will. But it's not like I have to help them over Mateo and Evie. I'm not going to make sure that, I pay back my sister for getting me through college before Evie is fed. That's not happening.
Well, it should be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, no, brother. I really appreciate you being on the pod. I'd say you're up there with one of the most intellectual people I know.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I mean, that just shows how small your circle is, man. You need to expand. What are you on, like episode 20-something?
Yeah, this is
That's crazy.
23?
Yeah.
I didn't say on the podcast.
Get some brainiacs out here.
I said people that I know. Like people that I would say that I have a good relationship with. You're up there.
You need to get in contact with like Magnus Carlsen or something. That'd be a good podcast right there.
With who?
The world's best chess player.
Oh.
You're talking like intellectuals, dude. He's up there.
Okay, look, you're up there in my circle. I know a lot of stuff. I know a lot of stuff that doesn't. There's no like meaning in it. Like I just know random facts, and like I pick up information because I have autism. It's not that I'm smart per se. It's just like I find things that I find interesting and I just lock them in my brain.
Yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, I can't remember what I ate yesterday. So, I don't know. But I appreciate you for being on the pod, brother.
It's fun. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we might
Take it
run
easy,
it back,
brother.
bro, because we could definitely do like a good 4-hour podcast, and that was only 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I mean it went by kind of quick too.
It's
Hey,
usually how
just
it
take
goes.
it easy, brother.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
real.
You too, man. I'm definitely interested to see where you end up, man. Like I said,
Yeah, me too.
you'll definitely be way bigger than whatever you think you will be. Just trust the process. But I appreciate you. I'll talk to you later, man. All right, later.
Later.
All right, chat. I appreciate y'all for coming through for another podcast, man. Shout out to Colby. Like I said at the intro, man, we've had a lot of conversations that were deep, that I took a lot out of, that I took a lot from in an office setting. So I figured, why not bring that over here and maybe you got something out of it. Whether it be a random tidbit to lock in your brain to talk about later, whether it be some outlook on life, faith, fatherhood, parenthood. Hopefully you got something out of it. But I appreciate y'all for being here. I love you. Be better, be easy. All right, make sure you say a prayer tonight because Jesus loves you, baby. I'll see y'all Thursday.